investment, and the person who went and bought it, and then he moved into their property.
Oh, Justin Padini. Okay, yeah, Larken Rose and Justin Padini.
Larken Rose.
Yeah, so that's even 5 activists I know that are staying on properties that they don't own. That's absolutely hysterical.
Sorry if I gave any private information there, but it was the Larken Rose person.
No. That's hilarious. DirectD, Paul Enslaved, Adam Kokesh, and that guy. They all live in Arizona on someone else's property. That's hilarious. And it's the whole thing. Everyone, they're obsessed with money. They think, oh, I have a little bit of a talent. Therefore, I'm going to make all these people pay for my life. I'm not even going to try and take care of myself. I'm just going to beg. And that's just pathetic bullshit to me. Begging because you're supposed to do activism because it's in your fucking heart, not because you get paid.
But
these Larken Roses.
At what point? I mean, they choose this path for, there's a difference between the truth movement and the freedom movement, and both have many shades of gray, which your next person another person tonight you'll talk about is another one in the truth movement. But like, what is it that makes them switch? Because this narcissism or the sociopathic stuff, whatever shade of personality disorder, it seems to get fueled by other people's.
It's a small community, so it's easy to get popular within it. And I just don't know, like people, and I don't know. It's very strange.
But
it is an odd, like the movement does collect a lot of straight up criminals, because people in the liberty movement and the truth movement, we don't like laws that much. But that doesn't mean we don't like laws of you being a fucking scumbag piece of shit. Right. That means we don't like victimless crimes. And
it's because natural law and karma is a thing, like you've got that principle where it's not going to end well for you if you abuse people like this through lying and through scamming and whatever else. But I would also firmly believe that these people actually believe their own stuff inherently. I don't know. They buy their own stuff if they could.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They well, just money intoxicates, man. They just, it's the same thing with Mark and the network. It's like he's compromised by allowing people to pay him to have him vouch for them. And therefore now we have all these, like we have this, it could have been the best network, period.
Yeah.
Best network out of the truth movement.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic,
Sorry.
Like Benny Wills, Will Keller, like, these are the big guys. I mean, no offense to Benny, but like, good Lord, the content is garbage.
Well, I see that as another cult, the cult of Will. And you can say the last name. Like, I don't like to necessarily. It is, because everybody is afraid to stand up. And then it's this Me Too abusive platform, which, I mean, as a student of experience.
Supports him.
What?
Like, he'd have views and shit, but they don't even support him, but they like vouch. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, like Mark Passer doesn't get involved in any of this. And on the one hand, I understand it, because he puts his information out. He's not interested in being a cult leader or put at the top of anything. He's not interested in that. He's like, I hate you people. Like, there's the information, go do some work. But then unfortunately it is a brand. And the one where I've switched topics, we can talk to it later. I got triggered.
No, we're done with that topic anyway. Chris.
We are. Okay.
So we're on to other stuff.
All right. So, like, at the end of the day, it's still a halo of the brand. And okay, is this a segue into Will, or is that another time?
I don't know. Yeah, no, that's the other thing. I forgot to put it up there. Yeah, we got to talk about your post in Gilded.
Yeah.
And that whole thing, because We only talked about it once, and a lot's happened since then. And we got a lot of responses from people. Which
I
is pretty
actually,
cool.
I saw the responses from the 3 individuals that I posted truth about, and then they just slap talk. Like, I mean, oh my God, on another planet. I didn't look at anybody else's. I've had a full.
Those are the only ones I saw. And
it was
some pretty predictable.
Well, one, Will said
shit.
you have daddy issues and I'm not your daddy. Like, you want to be a sexist pig? Like, what? You follow natural law and you have a person. I'm probably old enough to be his freaking mother. I don't know what age he is, but like, what the holy hell? And like, I don't want to be your daddy. I'm not. What would you talk? Would he?
Well, for one, you weren't asking him to do anything for you. You weren't asking him to defend you.
No, I was asking him
to do his job and to control out of hand people in the class. And you were fucking as calm. You were calmer than I could have ever been.
Yeah.
You were calm and concise. You pointed out, you did a beautiful example of forced shadow work.
Thank you.
You're like, hey, bro, you're fucking up. Except in the nicest way. You said, you're fucking up. And this group kind of needs to acknowledge it because he needs to acknowledge this.
Yeah.
And the response from the master practitioners of shadow work was, shut up, Alicia. You're on Team Jeffrey. Fuck you.
Well, yeah, there was that association for sure. I was like, Well,
why else would they have said that? Why else would they have said anything if not back you up? If it wasn't because you've been on my show a couple times.
Like, one is already on the one. So he basically had, like, you can tell me, but he's, for all intents, my thing was about Mark's technical course on the chat that came after class. Now, just so everybody is aware, right before Mark says, good night, God bless, not quite like that. Please respect one another and don't speak. So Will,
and he's left moderators to represent him.
That in nauseum last week, verbatim, to try to assist the shadow work again. I'm sorry. Now I'm raising because just his reaction. And if he gets off on this shit, like, what a gross pig. I mean, because this is about trying to create a safe space as they go into the 2025 session that people are actively signing up for to start in January. And I'm like, dude, you watch somebody who, to their credit, has remained quiet, hopefully working on their shadow work. So credit to that individual. I don't think they've said anything, and if they have, I'll retract this. But like, so far so good, and I appreciate that, and it seemed to help.
I've seen
now to the moderator,
good behavior ever since then.
Which is
shadow work works, people.
It does.
Shadow work works.
It does work.
Shadow work works.
But this has like fumigated out the toxicity within this group, and it's in the leadership, who then get their knickers in a twist because they've been called out for not doing anything. Then the other guy who's got the master's in psychology, that we have it on the recording, acted like a de facto moderator and then said, do I even know who you are? Do I even know who you are?
Yeah, he's been on the show. Yes, he was on the show and talked to Allie. Yes, he's been on the show. Yes, we know who you are. Yes, you know who we are. Like, what are you talking about? That's the first thing out of your mouth.
This is, I'll just say, because it's like, we named it last week. So now it's Dustin, who's on the One Great Network, just trying to like, I
wanted to clear something up. So I said that he was a moderator, which I don't know why. For some reason, I thought he was.
Because he acted like it.
They really wanted to focus on that. They really wanted to focus on that one thing that I got wrong.
That's all they thought they had.
But it doesn't mean anything. No. Nor does Will Keller it matter if that drama started somewhere else, because Alicia and fucking Darren met each other in the fucking class. Like, it was just a parade of excuses when both of those guys could have just went all, oh shit, my bad. Yeah, I wasn't really on it that day. I'll try and, that was pretty out of hand. Darren was pretty,
but he was there.
Definitely behavior that Mark doesn't want in there. And sorry I missed it, Alicia. But no, since you've been on the show over here, they treated you like you were me. They wanted to let it out, just like they focused on Allie too. They want to let out their anger for what I've said on this show on YouTube because they're too much of pussies to fucking come here and face me. This is an open show. It's been open the whole time. And these cowards still hide. And they attack the females that are on my show like fucking cowards.
In a sexist manner. Like, I could find that damn thing. In a very
gross way.
I should find that thing and read it.
Dustin told you to basically shut up, and Will told you, I'm not your daddy.
Well, if we go in the pecking order here, so we had Will. Will said, yeah, like, I sent you the message. We posted it to our private group. It's... Like, like, he should be ashamed of himself wherever it was.
Oh yeah, no, I'll read it. I'll read it. Do you want to read yours first?
I don't have, like, I gotta,
I have it. I'll read it.
Go for it.
I might get a little dry. My voice is going out, but if I just stop yelling, my voice will last. But Allie's not here to, Allie's in LA. She's not here to tell me to, she always signals to me to stop yelling. Okay. So, okay, here it is. I got it. So this is you. After, very unprofessional behavior by the moderators in Mark Passio's group, his tech class, which is a paid for class that everyone who's in that class is allowed to chat after the tech class. And there are moderators there. And obviously in a that's a very professional setting for these moderators. They definitely need to do their fucking job to make sure that Mark doesn't lose money and lose people because of assholes in the chat. So as we've observed during the class, I've been reported to many times by people in the class of obnoxious behavior in the chat and in the chats around it. And we've done a couple things about it. We silenced the Sotos, who were just spewing like these people aren't even on a level where they should even be fucking with Mark Passio. What does Mark Passio call it? He says it's bullshit intellectual curiosity that they have in Mark. They don't actually want to do, and that's another thing. Like I was looking through Mark's Facebook, and in his friends list is all these people I know that don't fucking talk about natural law, follow natural law, anything like that. They just want to be buddies with Mark Passio on Facebook. It's all a social scene to these guys, like, yeah, they don't. All they want to do is socialize and climb this ladder.
Yeah.
And the Will Kellers and the Dustin Plattners that put themselves out there.
And then Jerry pulled some shit too. Jerry did, and who teaches about natural law with kids with Dustin, the masters in psychology. Pause for a second. These people are teaching about healthy.
So if a little boy ran up to a little girl and hit her, and the girl went to Dustin would be all, "Shut up, bitch."
Do I even know who you are? Like, did this even happen?
Yeah. Who are you, little girl? Why would I care that boy hit you?
I didn't see anything happen.
Insane, bro.
Planet denial is where he has landed his spaceship. It's unbelievable. And then Jerry, so yeah, he did that one, which I have the receipts. I can show, like, hey, dude, we were talking and you just spent like all that time listening to the Dustin Alicia interaction, which I was no slag to Darren. We're past all of that. Credit to him so far. But like, no, but they just, and they're like, oh, go away. And this is actually the core of the work that Mark is teaching. In fact, his seminar to come up in the future in November 22nd, is on shadow work. Like, this is it. Yeah. But no, we're here.
That's all that matters. That's why I go to the Europa Law show every week and I go in the chat and I'm like, why aren't you guys talking about fucking shadow work. Like, hello?
No, they're in a
what
hut.
it's all about. And
They're in a hut in
dude had like
Tulum.
10 episodes before he even uttered the word natural law or shadow work. And it's like, how have you guys not know? No. Instead of making little groups and chat groups and podcasts, you need to be at home alone doing shadow work.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
like if you're right out of Mark's class, one of Mark's classes, if you're fresh out of Mark's classes, that's the main thing you should be doing, not podcasting, trying to teach this shit. Because then you have people like Will Keller, who doesn't know jack shit about natural law or shadow work, preaching to people as if he does know, because he's just on the coattails of Mark, kissing his ass, doing anything he'll do so Mark will utter his name. Mark has let people.
This is damaging to Mark's brand. Like, even though Mark doesn't give a shit what people do, he should, when the head of his one great network is Will. Like,
he's complaining because it's been a failure, but he's been asleep at the wheel the whole time.
You're gonna lose good people when they see that toxicity reigns. Like, I mean, so when people don't practice natural law in all manners, of course you're going to lose good people. They're going to go somewhere else, because even when you do have the courage to speak up, you are further abused. Jerry I woke up one day, she was on shrooms that night. I know from a source who was talking to her. So she was high on shrooms, then decided to, like, say that I'm a demon.
When she's on shrooms.
What?
It's pretty obvious when she's on shrooms.
But yeah. So, like, then I woke up to a message that I was a demon and I was being cursed, along with like 5 other people. And finally, on this Gilded thing whenever it was, a week or whatever ago, I'm like, what are you? She goes, but you were hating on vegans. And I know now and that's good that you've evolved. And it's like, I look back at whatever I would have done. If anything, I posted a book about a hunter that became a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't even originate it.
Several people have accused you of doing something you haven't done.
Oh, it's and they
which is like, whatever, it's like, okay, but if someone's gonna,
like,
I don't
know. They're just lowering the standards to shit. Like, anyone associated with that, it's like
there are a bunch of big sensitive egos in there.
Just say whoops and do the work, make the change so that you can grow the base and not lose the base. But they don't care, because it's the cult of Will Keller right now. And all the hanger-on posses, such as Dustin, so he can have his show, and Jerry probably wants hers, being high with a little, helmet full of like mirrored shit, smoking, getting high, and doing everything else. And like, I mean, the girl needs to put her phone down and not do any recording when she's on shit, which seems to be all the time, a lot, daily. There we go. I'm just pissed off because what it does is it puts a message out, and it takes time. Like, you don't even reach all these people. And it's like, I have this thing, it's called there is no value that has there is no value in that which has no meaning. And all I'm going to do is just, get my own personal information and not have any association, because they're just not worth it. To be fair. Oh, well, I don't know anything about that. So
no, well, to be fair, Europe Natural Law Group last episodes were about shadow work, because I forced them to do it, because for several weeks in a row, I was like, hey, you guys haven't uttered the word shadow work on your show yet. But, they did a couple episodes, but it's more of a social thing anymore. Over there, no one's learning anything over there. It's just those guys learning how to talk on YouTube and kissing each other's asses, basically. But I haven't learned a single thing there, except for there was one kid. There's one kid on there that was pretty cool, had some interesting stuff to say. But, and it's like, like Nemo, the guy's show, like his mom was in Crass. Crass was like an epic vegan punk rock band from like the 70s and the 80s, I guess. 80s. And like, he's never even done, like, it's like no one wants to say the V word. No one wants to talk about animals over there. They don't want to talk about the theft of life from sentient beings. They don't want to talk about that because guess what? People won't watch it. Just like my show where we got 6 people watching all day. I don't really care for the large numbers. I've been doing some outreach recently, going to some normie channels and trying to throw spit some knowledge, and it's been fun. And yeah, like outreach is what we need to be doing, not inreach. Collecting a bunch of people that know the same things we know and talking about them in a podcast is absolutely pointless. Like you're helping each other a little bit with your rhetoric, you know, you're learning some new arguments, but ultimately you got to go out there and talk to other people. You got to talk to your you got to talk to your friends and family who you have quite a bit of sway with. They'll listen to you more than some guy on Facebook.
What is Nemo? You got to go through Nemo a tiny bit, Ali has said. What does that mean, Nemo?
Nemo is the guy that runs the show at Europa Law. I think he's a former Mark Passio class guy. Mm-hmm. What did Ali say?
She's saying you got through to Nemo a tiny bit. I misread at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
She's saying you got through. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I mostly go over there just to give them ideas because the show's so boring. Because they could, it's only an hour. I don't know. It's just like an hour-long show. He's not showing anything. He's not presenting anything. It's just the same guys kind of like talking about the same stuff every time, which is all right. But it's not great work. It's not even that good of work. And like I was saying earlier. So the other thing, okay. So the big thing about all these natural law guys and their constant content creation is there's this thing with content creating. You have to promote that content. Go out there and show it to people, or else no one's going to see it. And none of these dudes promote their shit. So they're not in it to teach. They're in it to have a body of content that they can point at and have an ego over. These guys, like I've been a social media marketer for big activists several times in my life. Rudowski, who's on Tim Pool's show, Adam Kokesh, who was pretty big back in the day but no longer relevant. Like I've worked with these guys. I've had big channels. I've had access to big channels and to promote through big channels content. You can't just make a YouTube video and just walk away. What's the fucking point of making the video? YouTube is not going to show it to people. It's not going to show it to the people on your channel. You have to promote it. And none of these dudes promote their channels in the least bit. Not a single one of them. Well, I've looked at all the channels. They have all these networks and shit. All Logan and all those dudes. They have all these buddies and they have all these channels. Nobody promotes their content. There's no views on anyone's shit, yet they make video after video after video after video after video after video. And it's just like, bros, like I when I get done with the podcast, I go harass the world with those videos, you know? So like I go put them everywhere. And you have to do that at least. And you have to pay for advertising on Facebook is what you really need to do. But those dudes aren't even ready to hear anything like that. All they are into is making themselves be a podcaster or a guru, you know. And it was so funny the other day. One of them was on a podcast and he was like, I'm not a fucking guru, bro. Don't listen to me. And it's like, bro, you're cosplaying being a guru day after day after day after day after day after day. And then on top of it, these dudes are very unconfident when they talk on top of it. You know, I've yet to see someone very confident in the whole natural law scene. I've yet to see someone who's that confident speaking. Like they're plagiarizing Mark's shit, which I do sometimes too.
But he doesn't mind that.
And they're cussing because Mark has kind of made it okay to cuss. So they want to cosplay Mark by cussing all the time, which doesn't look good. Doesn't look great. It's another, know the room thing. read the room. You know, you save it for when you really need it. You don't just cuss to cuss you're on a 5-minute podcast and you say fuck 7 times, bro. You look like shit. That's not a good presentation. These guys present themselves terribly. Logan Hart won't even put on a fucking shirt to do a podcast, you know, and it's like there's like shit all over his floor, you know, like, bros, you know, not that my shit is that great, but like I at least present myself and I put my content out and I do outreach. Outreach, people. Like we have to go talk to the normies, people. We can't just talk to other people that know this stuff.
But you do a great job, and I'm going to pause for a second to kind of highlight the work that you actually do. And you do a great job of helping to educate and reinforce what natural law is and it isn't. And it takes guts to not be, you know, the yes person all the time. So even when we did the review of the post-class discussion, which they just erupted over, it's just at the end of the day, be thankful for the value of the knowledge of how shitty the moderators are doing. Like they're not even helping guide what is right from wrong. How is that 2.5 hours of any benefit other than them hearing their own voices? Yeah, man. Good job, man. You called the cops, man. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Like, look in the comments of any of their videos. Oh, you're so amazing. This is such good stuff. No, it's not.
No, it's not. And so I need to say, like, this isn't fun to go and have these challenging moments, but I think Jeff found you. Oh, there's a fish. Nice one, Allie. And it's just like, so it's actually a service to assist the other people within the truth movement to kind of do better, push the, you know, the bar up.
Mark is trying to save the world, so he's not going to focus on any of these motherfuckers. He's going to let them do what the fuck ever.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that is his choice.
That's the compromise.
Like, no one's going to join the posse of one world, one great network. If the frequency is toxicity and abuse and verbal harassment and sexism, that's not exactly a beacon. And so when Mark turns around and there's nobody effing there, figure it out. You know, this is why, because real people have tried to stand up in a way that is like I'm more emphatic today, but it's because they can't get it into their heads, you know, how they're fucking up. Excuse my French.
So big over there.
And like the sexism thing from Will was just that just broke it. It's like, you're not even worth anything, Will. Like, go.
Let me read this. Oh,
you found it. Oh,
that was the preface. So this is Alicia at Mark Passio. I greatly value all that you do. Your level of tireless effort to bring the best is clear. Sometimes just when you turn your back in the after hours group, things go wayward. This is a public review of the shenanigans and poor moderation on the 12/2/30 after class of the HTB TTM 2024 that I personally encountered as one example. The bravery and ball sacks to do this work needs to be commended, not hidden nor politically ostracized, I hope. This is simply shining a light on something just as you do. Everyone, I think. Everyone on Gilded has taken the course, everyone on Gilded has taken the course or is on the One Great Work Network. Does what I'm about to share reflect the standard of what Mark asked for the respect of? Geez, I cannot read today.
It's how is it my writing?
No, it might just be because it's how you write. It's not your writing is bad. It's just I can't read it as easy as I can read mine. But it's in here.
Gilded? Do you want me to?
You we'll at least tag team this thing because it's big.
Yeah.
Let me like it here. I just now it should pop up in your Telegram in mine.
All right, let me see here. Hold on just a tick. Oh, I just got high.
Wow.
Did you just send me something?
What's that? Oh, I think that the thing it's attached to. Click on the thing it's attached to.
Oh, Oh, okay. Here. Yeah. Okay.
There
Oh,
you
got it. Up. Oh shit, I did right, didn't I? Okay. Coming. Jeez.
go. It's huge. Holy shit.
Well, I'm
It's like 10
concentrating.
seconds of scrolling.
Okay. Here, I'll find it. Yeah, okay. So I'm catching at all.
I mean, you might be able to just skip the Jerry and Dustin and Will part since we kind of went through it if you
Sure,
want.
everyone on Gilded.
Or whatever,
Gilded is the
whichever.
private official group that Mark allows. So there's no private other
Yeah.
groups. It's the only one. So anyone who's taken Mark's course over the last 7 years, whatever it is going to be on here, pretty much. So I'm saying everyone on Gilded.
And there's a lot of a shocking amount of people who just hate Mark in there too.
Oh,
so
really?
It's like how I mean, people like the Sotos, like people like those people that are in there like talking shit about him because he's vegan.
They could be plants.
Yeah, no, but like, why are these people still in the group? Where are the moderators? How come there are still people who trash talk Mark in his private group?
And that's another example where the moderator, aka Mr. Keller, the cult leader of all, didn't do anything again. So it's like, what the holy hell here, man?
Those Sotos, they were like super toxic and spreading like globalist bullshit on the channel. So, and like I as a moderator would at least be like, hey guys, here's a couple links of some like basics to like fucking freedom, like sharing Charlie V links to everyone. Charlie V, a little billionaire globalist, like, so you're trying to get Lambos by taking Mark's class? Like, you want Lambos? I don't get it. They
posted some like YouTube video and I went in and that was the link. And I'm like, you're posting a video from a globalist. And they're like, oh, who should read mine? Ellie says, I don't know if did you write something? I didn't see it. So I don't know. So I'm basically I didn't know she sent anything. I haven't been on Gilded. So I'm basically saying, does what I'm about to share reflect the standards, excuse me, that Mark asked for?
No, we didn't respond to this yet. Allie didn't respond to this. I don't, why would we?
Does this really follow natural law? Like, this is the natural law group, man. And I'm saying I'm merely posting this to try to help create change and foster a different moderation and support within Gilded and the after-class discussion, none of which would be needed, of course, if students just exercise respect, sanity, and restraint. It goes without saying. And we know who the other person is, doesn't need to be named again. The other was Jerry, I'll skip this thing, but like, jumping to false conclusions about something that I posted. She's saying supporting meat eating. And it's like, I never posted it.
And then she allowed Darren to scream at you several times for things she did. It was her who moved in the space bullshit.
And she's like, my shit doesn't stink. I'm perfect. Well, okay. As you go off in the sleigh bell with Dustin, the master's in psychology, and go teach natural law of how to be a good human to children. Like, shoot me now. This is just insane. Like, you need to learn this yourselves, people, before you start educating the vulnerable children. So there's that. And then, I'll skip all that. Then I'm saying to Will, as admin and moderator of the after class, like, someone felt it okay to speak about a situation that he encountered in the chat group. That was Dustin. However, when I addressed a diabolical lack of respect continuously displayed over weeks by a fellow student, again, so far so good, Satan came out of that individual. And yet they did nothing. I'm just saying it's Mark's. Anyways, I need to it is. And then I went on to say, I challenge you, Dustin, to have a shadow review of your actions. And I stand by that. Mr. Do I even know who you are? You simpleton, you nobody, you whatever. Okay, dude.
Well, let's read his response after.
Oh, I'd have to find again. I don't even want to touch Gilded anymore because it's just toxic. It's just a cyanide pill. Like, they're just killing it. They're killing it. And I said to Will,
Allie, can you telegram me those screenshots?
Yeah, Will's was precious. Oh my God. Like, that's the one.
I have Will's here. I just don't have Dustin's here. We're looking at Will's after this. So go ahead and
Yeah, I just said, Will, I'm beyond words at this point, as you are seen as a key figurehead of Mark's platform. And I'm like, if he's watching this, yeah, all you do is bring out the broom, like make it go away. Okay. And you're hut in Tulum with your new age, like you're the problem, people. No, you're the problem, Will. You're the problem. And the group needs better. And if you don't know how to follow natural law and be a good leader, then you should bugger off. Oh yeah, I guess that's not good for your water system sales, which are overpriced and have been a topic of an episode by Jeffrey Pryor, because you can talk to that, because it's whatever of a, well, his water system, like for $5,000 when you can get cheaper.
It's a $300 machine he's trying to sell to truthers as a $6,000 machine or something like that. Yeah, so it's a scammy. And his practices, his marketing tactics are very sketchy. He's telling people that they won't have to go to the hospital if they buy his machine, and they're going to save all this money that they would be spending on the hospital if they just buy this machine that's $6,000 that's actually $300 from China. You could order on Temu. You could order one of these machines for $300. But his is extra better because it's from him.
I mean, what a joke. I mean,
the other thing, he claims it'll last 25 years.
Okay, where's he going to be in
Chinese
25
product
years?
hasn't lasted 25 years yet, but somehow his Chinese product is.
Was it developed 25 years ago?
No, right. No.
He's going to be long disappeared.
It's a lie. It's an absolute deceptive. It's double speak. It's a lie. I was expecting a pretty bad marketing pitch from him, but I was appalled by how bad it was. Like, just the sketchiest multi-level marketing scheme tactics you've ever heard. Peer pressure, fucking doom and gloom, fucking bullshit. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm just skimming over that. You know what? There comes a point, and I just say here, the group moderators, I'm just kind of jumping ahead, but the group moderators allow unacceptable behavior and double down and actually poo-poo the very one trying to do foreshadow work. We all need to support and get along, is what they say, like some new age Tulum, Mexico powwow. Oh my God. And
I'll say that. All of them, all those dudes, Chris Jansen, Logan Hart, fucking all of those dudes. Oh, just don't tear each other down. We're just all doing the great work. No, you fucking aren't. You're cosplaying. You're faking. And that's not what Mark taught you. Like, they all, like Mark said, they just all want to be a part of him. They just all have this weird intellectual interest in him, but they don't actually understand anything enough to be able to put out content that's actually will educate anyone. They just want to make videos for each other. But go, sorry.
No, it's okay. And I'm saying that unsuccessful effort then led to this, which is a permanent record of the shit show that it is, which is unfortunate because, when you talk
making things up.
Yeah,
what? We're not making things up. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I mean, they try.
Yeah, we're not just here making things up.
Oh, they're like, it's defamation. Truth is not defamation. People, you can't call defamation like it can't be. They're the ones who are actually defaming and re-victimizing the goddamn victims. So it's twisted. It's toxic. Did somebody put something in there or what?
Oh my God, Race. That's really fucking good.
What?
The One Great Lurk Network? Because all they do is lurk around and watch my videos. They don't ever come up here. They're too scared to face me and just talk about it man to man.
So what I'm saying in here, which let it be on public record, because I said this, I said another reason why I'm sure, and I have respect for Mark, but at some point, it's like, you got to clean your house, man. This is ridiculous. And I'm saying another reason why I'm sure Mark just wants to crawl under a rock. Even his group leaders can't get their shit together. When I take a course, I shouldn't be subjected to abuse nor others, yet it's happening a lot. So if you want to sign up for the tech course, this is what lies ahead. Unless you don't partake, you don't ask questions, you're a fly on the wall, or maybe even you just get, if somebody records it. paid for, obviously, but like it's not safe. It is not safe. And it's like, oh, and she, no, I'm not looking for protection. I'm standing up for my own. I'm actually activating what natural law is. I'm helping force shadow work. I'll take it on the chin too whenever it's necessary. But this is bullshit. And I don't know how this is a commercial enterprise at this point. It shouldn't be. It's not ready to be.
No, it's not. That's probably the problem the whole time.
Then I go on to say, lastly, please support the work of Jeffrey Phillips on VGT Live. They're on episode 44. And I'm saying that you guys are doing a very niche work of holding people's feet to the fire and educating on natural law and veganism, and show when others fail to do so. For all intents purposes, it's the real beacon that people should be striving to meet. I hope to see them on the One Great Network where they richly deserve to be, but of course you won't, because it's a popularity contest and you have to be toxic to engage on there. And you have to like see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil in order to be on it and continue to be on it. And you have to have this blind eye syndrome. Sorry if I'm getting too heated.
Too much trouble. I would cause too much trouble to be on that network. There's too many fakers. I couldn't stand it. I'd make videos about every single person up there, which I'm going to do.
And I go on to say, I'd like to thank
disappointing because it's disappointing because I would hope I would be scared to be on that network because there's so many fucking gangsters up there, you know, like so many good content creators, you know, like I know 10 dudes off the top of my head. Mark could clear out everyone, put these guys on there, and we'd be done. Like, that's it. Best network of all time. Like, well, things would be
quality,
over with.
Quantity. It's quality, and it should be checked and make sure
it's not even that. It's it's pay to play. You're paying to get involved with the network, you know, like, I mean, you know, obviously Mark has to think it's worth it at the end, but I mean, Benny Wills, Justin Padini, holy fuck. Larkin Rose, these dudes don't push natural law. I thought this was a natural law network, and none of these guys push natural law.
I do go on just kind of like the small print, which is in the same size. I say to Mark, your bravery is beyond measure. Like 17 years of this shit, right? Your shared knowledge is making a difference. The professionalism of the course is top tier, and I've always said that. I can't thank you enough. I look forward to the last few classes left. That said, at this point, I feel ostracized. I feel clearly unwelcome, and I don't even want to ask a question. But, you know, it's just reminder isn't the equivalent of shadow. What do you want to catch that comment? Reminder that talking about doing shadow work, right? It isn't the equivalent. Talking about it and doing it are two different things.
Yeah, but everyone loves talking about it.
Moral of the story:
and everybody's asked like they've already done it. I hear these dudes, they say, when I did shadow work, as if it's over with. They say it all the time. They're all, oh, I did shadow work once. Like, what? No. Like, it's a lifelong thing, bro.
Yeah, and I'm just saying verbal abuse, defamation, and skipping away from harm caused to others is the last thing we need to be having focus on right now. The world is on fire. Students need to grow the F up. Let's deal with this and move on. But of course, when the cult leader says, then nothing's going to happen. So, you know, that's that. His response you have, which is just, he deletes himself of any validity, any stature, anything with his response, which was, it goes without saying, posted in anger and ego tripping very quickly after my post. Do you want to read that?
Yeah. So the truth is, Alicia, you brought your own drama from the outside platform into the class. Completely irrelevant, bro. Sorry. That doesn't absolve you in any way whatsoever.
Distraction.
Alicia knows Darren because of the class. Darren has access to Alicia because of the class. If Alicia wasn't in the class, she wouldn't know Darren, and Darren wouldn't have been harassing her. So the fact that she brought this up in class is kind of amazing because it's an opportunity to observe forced shadow work live.
Which
amazing, right?
For this episode, for those if it's just like I'm only watching this episode, Darren came on and he apologized.
Screaming bloody murder, cussing at you, calling you names.
Yeah.
For something you didn't do, for something Jerry did. Jerry's the one talking about space aliens and shit all the time, not you. I've never heard you say anything like that.
It's not in my
So
head.
he was wrong. He mistook you. He's
Yep.
so high or something that he mistook you for Jerry and screamed at you on several occasions over it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when you brought it up in class,
Yeah.
you waited to after class, which is the appropriate time to bring something up. You
Yeah.
very calmly presented what happened. And you were just like, I just needed to say that because it's been bothering me and it's something that's not right that's happening here. And I just need it addressed. And the next person who talked was, I believe, Dustin. And he basically, he said some stuff, but he basically told you to shut the fuck up. This isn't productive. This isn't forced shadow work. Isn't productive.
We went through that recording last
Mark Passio guy.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But
Well,
the funny part, his career is about also helping people through
Psychotherapy.
shadow work. He touts himself
crisis
as a shadow work
crisis.
therapist and says he expects it to take 5 years.
Conflict
for his client.
resolution, like amazing opportunity for him to jump in
and show how good he is
and show what his talents are. And he stays quiet and then waits till it's done and tells you to basically shut the fuck up.
And then, do I even know who you are after listening to all that and after
we haven't gotten to that yet.
Conversation? Okay.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that yet.
Oh.
We'll read that next.
What
So
a
Will
loser.
continues.
The truth is, Alicia.
So, okay, so I'll just start out. You brought your own drama from the outside platform into the class, and although you're trying to address this altercation, you seem to want some sort of saving or attention from it. No, she actually just said what happened and wanted to address it to the person who did it to her, and she didn't ask you to do anything except be a fucking moderator. And tell and be like, hey, bro, maybe keep this out of class. That's all you had to fucking say. When he was ranting and screaming at 150 of Mark Passio's fucking paid, people.
Classmates.
He's raging. No, Will knows he should have fucking moderated that shit, and he didn't. And we called him out, and he's pissed. So anyway,
good.
He's saying, I am a moderator of this tech class, not your father. She wasn't asking for you to be your father, you fucktard. You're a grown adult, and confrontation shouldn't be able to confrontation should be able to be communicated without recomps from others.
Recompense?
Well, you didn't, for one, you didn't ask. You simply stated. Instead of violating Mark's request and your other students and the other students by sharing the after chat with an outside live show whereby you and the host talk shit on the classmates, and Mark.
He got caught with his pants down. Too bad, buddy. Too bad.
Somebody's been watching. So let me comment. So right off the bat, he tried to deflect by saying it didn't happen in class, so you didn't have you aren't allowed to say it. Then he said it's not his responsibility to save you, even that's not what you said you asked for.
Nope.
Then he's complaining Mark doesn't want his technical course leaked. The after chat is not the same thing. It's just a bunch of garbage. Mark doesn't give a shit about that garbage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's besides the point, but that's really what the rule is about, not people talking about people recording what's happening in the after chat. And if people are recording what's in the after chat and exposing it to the world, then maybe there's something wrong going in the after chat.
Yeah.
But Mark, like you said, Mark says, stay civil. And Darren was not civil, and his moderators didn't do anything about it. That is the problem that we are having right now, not Alicia begging for help or the leaking of some worthless content. And if anything, dude, I have advertised Mark's technical course more than anybody, more than Will Keller. I've only done it once. I do it in almost every episode because we clip something amazing out of the before or after class and put it up. I'm keeping Mark relevant. He doesn't have a podcast anymore. I literally stop and say, hey, there's a new class starting in, what is it, July? And,
January.
This is a good course if you want to learn how to be a like, we don't talk shit about it. We advertise for him on the regular. Mark needs more people clipping shit and advertising for him. If he had more people doing that, like you guys should be doing, instead of endlessly making content that you don't even fucking promote, you should be clipping Mark's shit and putting it up and keeping him relevant and keeping natural law relevant, because you're not doing what you're doing. You're simply factioning off of natural law. It's like, oh, natural law is like, it doesn't really matter. Like we're all, it's because these guys are all Aleister Crowley fans. All these guys, they like Crowley more than they like Mark.
Are
they want to,
Are they Crowley devotees?
I think so.
Interesting.
I think they think that they are the power and they are able to do whatever the fuck they want in excess.
I mean, honestly, that's some serious dark stuff. Crowley stuff.
Yeah, there is darkness coming from all those guys. Why do you think I've been going after them?
Right. Crowley was a genius in his own right, but in a way, like his ego, his power tripping,
is all alone, a drug addict and a fucking scumbag
and a hedonist. So, and he died broke. He came from a wealthy family and died broke, and just
he died. He literally died in like a hostel. Like he had nothing. So that's where that fucking life gets you.
Well, there's the
have
glide
fun with
path.
that.
Yeah.
Logan Hart and Will Keller.
Yeah.
Have fun with that. Try to teach that shit to other people.
And you play with that
under the guise of Mark Passio. Unbelievable. Yeah. So let me keep going. So he's talking shit about our show, which this is what got him in trouble with me from day one. He went on his podcast with him and Logan Paul, another scammer, and talked shit about my show. And said, we only talk shit and we aren't doing anything good over on my show. All we do is talk shit and be polarizing and talk shit about those guys because we're jealous.
It's not even true.
After that, after he said that on his show, it was fucking on, and like,
cause and effect.
Any normal person would have thrown in the towel, showed up on my podcast and been like, hey, bro, we got off on the wrong foot. Maybe we should back things up and try again. But no, this guy's so much of a fucking, his ego is so delicate that he can't fucking stand that someone came along and pointed him out for his bullshit when he thinks his shit doesn't fucking stink because he knows Mark Passio. So, fuck you. We do not talk shit here. We talk fucking truth.
We do, and it truly is following, what Mark puts out there, and it's a reinforcement of that. It's not talking about it; it's doing it. I even, as a part of that, a personal note afterwards said, like, I have evolved and changed since taking the course, but it's because I did the work, I put the time in, and I got to give you and Ali credit. Like, you guys are the beacon for helping educate people. And not only do you do the forced work, which can be uncomfortable at times to watch and witness and stuff like that. Like even Slav,
it's a lot of energy.
Slav brought me to your group, and then I'm like, and I didn't even know what was kicking off there. And I've seen the good side of Slav. So like there's some delicate, difficult conversations that go on, And
Yeah.
but you also bring in some so not only witnessing that so that we can apply to ourselves and to other people in other situations and step up, but also a lot of really good educational content, and you get good people in and everything else. It's a value add. And if anybody put the time in and listened, are there any comments going up there?
No.
Okay. You're adding value. Ooh, I'll mute my
Sorry.
that
No.
sounded like a Mark moment.
I was trying to mess with some stuff. Well, thank you, but I mean, again, it's just like it's kind of like what Mark says. It's like, well, like I don't see much effect. I've for the amount of energy I've put in,
Sure.
there's been a remarkably small response. I like it. You know, I kind of I don't like I like being. I've always rooted for the minority, you know, like the underdog, you know. So like
Yeah.
I understand and know that this show's not going to be popular. And like I've been hanging out with a bunch of shows of like auditors and shit, and they have like hundreds of thousands of you know, followers, and they're like, why is your fucking channel so small? And it's like go there and listen to what I talk about. Nobody wants to hear that shit. They're like, but dude, you'd at least like get bigger. And it's like, no, I do not talk about stuff anyone wants to talk about on this show. You know, like nobody, you know, like vegans we're what 2% of the population. So right there, 2% of YouTube might watch my channel simply because I'm vegan.
But we had somebody on
tiny
who
percentage.
what was that guy, the Unpolished or whatever his name was, that guy that came on perfectly wanting to hate on people and then left, and it's like, you know, like he had the good cop and bad cop kind of situation, but he was educated, and I think that guy
Flow
may or may
State,
not.
the guy last week.
Yeah.
Flow State. Yeah. No, he came here. He was sent here by another YouTuber who has a problem with me to mess with us, and it backfired. That was pretty great. That was fun. You totally after it was funny because he came there he came there in bad will to talk shit. So it was really funny that he was so offended that John Balls was talking shit to him, because we know why he's there. But it was funny just because John Balls he focused on John Balls because John Balls was being the most kind of
alpha,
flagrant with his words. Everything out of my mouth was cold as ice. He couldn't say shit to. And then you were the good cop being super nice. And he was just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. Like, this has not turned out how I thought it is. This is all public record now. I need to go.
Well, mine was genuine. Like, I came at it genuinely. I didn't know stuff from the back. And it was like, it was just, we were talking about health and how it feels and everything else. And so I don't, like, we've discussed this, you know, to follow natural law, sometimes just listening and just some of these examples, and some may find it like grinding or whatever, but this is the hard work that we as individuals need to do and help those around us or classmates or whatever. This is the service we need to do, period. Right. And Jeff thinks the average vegan will like Comporga. Oh,
no,
that's
I was trying to, let me finish what you're saying. And then I gotta
like the vegan thing, you know, sure, it takes a snap in order to do that and I've come out and said, I'm more recent. I've done it before, you know, and then I need to readdress and redo it. And through this is like vegan therapy, really, because there's some incredible people behind the scenes here who have unbelievable knowledge and are really healthy, super fit. Like it breaks the model of a Chris Sky saying, oh, you're going to die, you know, doesn't look like it. Right. So there's such value in here. And even if people make tweaks, and, you know, we had Christian come on and he's like, well, I'm getting there. And I was a hunter, and brave to do that too. But then, and then how Mark had taken 12 years or whatever to make his transition. Like, I knew I set it up. It was, for me, it was over a period of like the summer, and I was like, something like not feeling good. And I've just completely instantly went, that's it. and it doesn't have to be a
when it's the
merge.
right time, you know it's the right time. You know, you're like, all right, I think I can do this now.
And that's not to be projected. Like I personally, I respect free will. Like to each, like everyone's going to be, they have to follow their own intuition. They know their own discipline. They may or may not ever choose that route, and that's okay. But even if you put a percentage of whether or not it's fresh fruits and vegetables or more of that into the diet, you're going to feel better. Like that's the outcome, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a diehard.
Like, people know this too. We all know this. Even the carnists know this. You know, they're just in denial, but like they know, and they're like you know, like all these arguments we have with the carnists, they're learning a little bit. And the day that their doctor tells them they got a couple months to live, unless they turn shit around, they're gonna at least have a little bit or know some resources or even hit us up, you know, at that point.
Right.
I've had several friends of mine, even recently, one of the YouTubers I've been hanging out with, he's like, man, I need to go. A buddy of mine, Tracy, 3 years ago hit me up and he's like, bro, he's a chef. And he called me and he's all, bro, I had a fucking heart attack. And he's like my age. And I'm like, dude, you need to go vegan. And he's like, I know, dude. And he died 3 weeks later.
No.
And yeah. And then, you know, and then I had another guy hit me up in the same way recently, you know, and he's like, man, I need to go vegan. And I'm like, yeah. And I've just been sending him links and shit. And it's like, you know, and even like dudes I've talked to before that are vegan now, they're like, no, I used to fucking argue with vegans all the time, you know, and it's just like the truth is the truth. And most people can recognize the truth when they hear it, even if they don't like it, it sticks in their head. And one day they'll wake up and be like, fuck, he was right, you know, like, so it's not, you know, we're not doing all this. I see so many people, oh, you're just wasting your time. And it's like, fuck no, like these guys are here because they want to learn. They just don't show that they want to learn. They show by arguing with me. They ask me questions by arguing with me and saying stupid things that they think are right to me. You know, that's their way of asking questions. And I've had to realize that like these guys aren't always arguing. Sometimes they're just asking questions in a really stupid way.
Well, there's never a dumb question. Like, it's the motivation behind it sometimes, you know, and that has to be questioned at times. But there's also different archetypes. Like you're going to have a different profile. John Bob has one. John Bob is like he's super fit and he's so passionate and he's actually so knowledgeable about things, you know.
Yeah, but he can't control himself and he doesn't know how to read the room, and he, you know, says also a bunch of stuff that's really silly. Like last week I had to talk to him because he was raging. I'm like, bro, not a good look.
Okay, but you know, everybody has a different approach, and if that's his approach, then you know maybe that will crack the nut at one point, because sometimes people need rage in order to get through that. Others would run from it. Yeah,
but that just looks like that Chris Sky video to me, just like someone raging. Like, bro, calm down.
You know.
But anyway, like Race Lever's comment, I want to get back to this thing. So what I was saying about the 2% of vegans that might watch my show, most likely that 2% isn't going to watch my show. Even if they did, they wouldn't recognize it as a vegan show because I'm mostly talking about not vegan stuff. So then the next algorithm I have is natural law, where I can't even get people that are into natural law to watch my show because of how much foreshadow work happens here, and that's not fun shit. So even the people that know it's not fun shit, you know, that are claiming to be all knowledgeable don't even want to come here and put their 2 cents in or anything like that. So I got vegans that probably won't watch me because I'm not only talking about vegan, and I'm not like a liberal, so I don't really get along with a lot of their politics. And then natural law scene, which is tiny. You know, like these dudes are like, why doesn't your channel get bigger? It's like, dude, no, this channel is made for nobody.
This is root cause essential stuff. Like when you're really looking at the building blocks of life in terms of value. John Balls, does that mean anything to you?
Peak male specimen. No, I love John Balls. He just pisses me off sometimes.
Oh, John Bob. Oh, okay. I love him too. Like I've seen his beauty side, and he really has been invaluable to me. So
he needs a little bit better production quality. He needs like a real camera and a real mic, and like to set himself up and not be so lazy about things.
Well, look at me. I don't have one. You could be saying that to me too. I don't know how mine sounds.
What are you talking about? Your studio is totally nice. He's like laying on the ground half the time with his shirt. He's like Padini with his presentation. His phone's always dying. But anyway, enough about John Bob.
Careful. If I get a ripped tummy, I might go one day too, but not all the way. I'm working on it. But and I will, like, I need you guys to hear me say this, and it's not, there's no sugary or puffery going on here. Like Allie's, what's her thing? Light Occult Revival? Is that what hers is? Hers has got some really
shout out to Allie's channel. Go follow her. Go watch her. She's only got like 5 or 6 videos.
No, your mic is what? Thank me. You re-say that. The whole thing was blurred. Your mic sucked.
All right.
Try again.
Shout out to Light.
It's all
Occult Revival. Go.
It's not working. It's all bloody. Try again. It's like Spaceman.
Is it?
Hit it Spaceman? Or something. Try again.
Hold on. Is that better?
Perfect.
All right. So shout out to Light Occult Revival.
Yep.
Check out her channel at Light Occult Revival.
Yeah.
She's got like 5 or 6 videos that are very much worth watching.
Really good.
I've been trying to get her to make some more. If you guys show more interest, she will make more, I'm sure. She's where I've learned most of my shit from.
And probably shadow testing too.
And philosophy, psychology, the occult, natural law. I've only learned 10% of this stuff from Mark, really. I mean, I guess through Allie, through Mark, but Allie's got a very good way of explaining things.
That's
also, Allie should be on the network for sure. Allie, if I was offered to be on that network, I would put her on it instead, because I don't really. She knows way more about this stuff than I do. But anyway, check out her channel, Light Occult Revival.
There's good stuff
and
in there.
Leave comments, like all of her stuff, and share all of her stuff.
Yeah, Allie and I have taken a hit, from the group, from the cult leader, Mr. Will.
Yep.
And his little enablers, hangers on and enablers, Dustin and Jerry. And, and I say this because they still need to do their shadow work. I'm not going to let them off. Do your freaking shadow work, man. Be a better human. And there's so much passion in there. If they actually got the baseline right, they could be amazing. But they're not right now.
Base Lever's kind of got a good point right now. Because we've been talking about me rebranding in some way, because this podcast it's a lot of energy and a lot of time out of my life for 9 people watching. Not that really matters, but it just, I don't know how, like, I could just keep doing this and just keep going after people nonstop. But
all they do is flip the bird,
Yeah, exactly. I want to get more into, more presentative type of stuff, but starting a network, that might be a fun side project for me, getting the right people together, and doing something.
So Race Lever's on quite a bit. What's one thing, Race Lever, that
he's a bot?
Oh, is he? Is he?
I think so. He's never shown his face, and
well, then this will be the human
too good. His jokes are too good. They're too inside. He's here every episode, no matter what.
Here's a bot busting question then. As a human, what have you learned, Race Lever? One thing that you've learned in all these last few podcasts. Whoa, that wasn't permission to stop the live streams on Sundays. That's not answer that question. What have you learned as a human? And then that'll be the litmus test.
Oh, you mean having people on and ask that?
No, just for race. I mean, for example.
Oh, for Race Lever, asking Race Lever that. What has he
Yeah.
learned from the show?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good question. What have you learned from the show, Race Lever?
Something that's of value, not something cocky and whatever else. Like content.
We're gonna put him on the spot now.
I am.
We're overloading the bot computer. It's frying. Overheating. It's all. Oh shit!
This is a human consciousness question. How do I answer? How do I answer?
Yeah.
You know, there you go. You'll suss it out there. So
that's pretty funny.
It's not. You know, like maybe you should do that. Like and it's not easy. It's not easy when you're prepared to do the tough work. It's isolating. It can be, you know, it's brutalizing.
Like 150 people hate me because of this shit. Like,
well, then that's a credit to how good a job you're actually doing, you know.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you're catching flack, you're over the target, I guess. But yeah, it's not fun work. It's not. No. It's very stressful, really. Like
draining.
Kind of draining. Yeah. Like I'm
maybe,
always super exhausted after these.
Well, for sure. And hopefully,
and I gotta research all these fuckers. I'm not just making things up, so I have to actually do research and watch all these guys' freaking boring ass podcasts and stuff. You know, like
like where were you before you were famous, Chris Guy? You know, hopefully this is at least saved one person from that crypto thing and from like a Mexican prison. You know, so like let that be the beacon. The cult leader, I'm gonna call him that because that's what he is until the sexist cult leader. That's what Will is, the sexist cult leader. And until he like redeems himself, that's going to be what I'm going to call him. I don't care.
Dude, I'm setting him up for such a fucking bomb ass character arc. Like I'm setting him up to do that, to just like.
And nobody has any interest in him otherwise. No one gives a shit about him. If he didn't have
But he won't do it because of his ego. He would never come up here and admit to a single thing, admit to being wrong to anything. He would never in a million years come up here because of his ego.
You know, I have to maybe respond or not respond with freaking facts and receipts to this plonker. I've had enough going on.
No, we're not responding to that shit. Why would we respond to that shit? We are already responding to it. They don't get personal fucking time spent with their little personal letters back. No way.
Yeah.
There's no reason to respond to that garbage. They both embarrassed themselves with those comments.
All three.
Yeah. Embarrassed, and they all teamed up.
And I keep saying credit to Darren, like thus far, unless I've missed because I'm not watching, because it's like
he's been very well behaved.
Then maybe he's truly is doing his shadow work, and like with his ability to get the information, like that could be something really cool. And you know, the slabs of the world. Too, I hope so.
Yeah, if someone called me out that hard in public, I'd be on my best behavior too. I rewatched that shit and I was all, damn. I was on one that night, but it was every word of it was true.
And
like,
that's the thing.
These dudes are not in the right headspace for tackling this stuff.
No. And like this whole platform of defamation, like he tried to hit me up with defamation. It's like, there's no defamation. Truth is not defamation. Truth is your shadow.
Yeah. You have to, natural law is all about controlling your ego.
Yeah.
And not ending up on Mount Stupid, which I think that's why Mark pounds that shit into the ground so much, is because all these guys around him. Hey, look, speak of the devil, someone's ears are burning.
Hey, Darren.
What's up, Darren?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah. Have you been listening?
Oh, yeah. I enjoy your show. It's good.
Did you hear
it's
are you sticking to the shadow work, and is it helping and working?
Yeah, like I said, first of all, it's not even been that long, so I can't say, Alicia, why don't you get over it? It was like a million years ago, because it wasn't, so I'm not, you know what I mean? Because some people do that. They'll say, I apologized 2 weeks ago, so you should be over it.
Oh, I am over it with you. Just watch your mic there, Darren. Your mic is a
Okay.
little fuzzy. So, but also if I just interrupt for 2 seconds, I am over it. With regards to you, I've said it and I've been complimentary that actually this whole time.
Yeah.
Just checking in if anybody, like, I'm done with that. Like, this is now on
I
to the
get it.
moderator
Because
crap.
you're explaining like what happened recently, and it's related to the thing, but not about me. I get that.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
what
No
I
longer
came
about
on
you.
to say is that like, yeah, obviously the shadow work is ongoing, and what I could have done before when you asked for an apology was to say, you know what, let's say I wasn't ready to give one at the time, right? So I could have said, you know what, let me think about that and get back to you next week. We'll talk offline. And I could have left it at that, you know, if I wasn't ready at the time, because sometimes, you know, you got to process something. And so I just wanted to clarify previous, and basically explaining like why I went off, not that it makes it okay, but I went off because you said I had given an apology regarding my behavior, but not to you, which was correct. But they were two separate issues, and all I'm addressing is the confusion as to the alien thing versus my thing with Alicia, because it's true, Alicia was not talking about aliens, but it wasn't obvious in the context of the class
Right.
what the reason why I ghosted Alicia, and it's nobody could know because I didn't explain, right? So basically, Alicia was not ghosted or yelled at regarding the alien thing. It was that I was like, cool, I gave an apology for flipping out about people talking to people who claim to be an alien who are speaking contrary to natural law. And, you know, but still my reaction was overblown. So that was stupid. And I apologize for that. And then I felt like at the time that you were like piggybacking off of that and saying, so you apologize to the other people, apologize to me, but you didn't have anything to do with that. But like, it seemed like you were trying to relate it to that, but it more like just happened at the same time. And the reason I folded the group and thereby ghosted you was because I wanted to step away from group activities in general and calm down. But I wasn't calmed down yet, and therefore, hence my reaction. So, but yeah, the shadow work is ongoing. And if I didn't want it, I could have just said, look, I just needed to stop for a little bit and get some rest.
Sounding good, but you did form a guy group right after you folded the one with me, which I don't give a
well, the group, yeah, that group was literally just the same guys without you.
There you go. So you didn't just fold the groups. You opened up another one right away. I just want to I'm all about
and like
that.
I said, it's fine to not get along, but I want to be respectful to you as a person, obviously.
All good.
Because yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I did keep it just the guys from that group, but and I guess I really don't have to justify it because I don't think it's something that can be justified. It's just a personal preference.
It's all
but what was not good was the way I handled it. I could have just said, you know what, Alicia, I just didn't. It was a personal thing where I just didn't want to have you in there, and that's it. Like I didn't have to, you know, get vitriolic about it.
You didn't have to be a dick about it, basically.
Yeah,
like you're allowed to not want to hang out with her. Just, you know, it's better to not be an asshole.
Yeah, like I'm chill, about all of, I'm chill about all of that. Anyways, I don't want to get into it because I really am over it.
We don't
and
need to get into it again.
This is not. I've repeatedly done the caveat of Darren seems to be doing his stuff. You've not.
Yeah, I just didn't want people to think that I thought Alicia had something to do with the alien thing because she didn't.
Thank you. Thank you. Now go have that conversation with Jerry and give her a little bit of what the hell.
I hope she's over this thing because let's just say someone is a starseed and I am a soul from another galaxy that was born here. If what I'm telling you is contrary to natural law, then you shouldn't listen to me. Doesn't matter if I'm farting thunderbolts and like shooting lightning out of my fingers. If I'm lying to you about natural law, you shouldn't listen. That's how people make little pacts with like demons and shit. Because they're like, oh, this is an extra dimensional entity. It's powerful. Well, it could also be an asshole.
And so, Darren, like just listening to, like this is a calm, like it's a cool discussion. And right there shows the value of that conversation when it's packaged in a different way, which if I'm hearing you, it's like, look, I've had experience if I'm paraphrasing what I'm hearing you say, correct me at any point. You're saying I've had history with demons and entities, and this is not stuff to be messed with. And Jerry's inviting problems, which is also against the platform of natural law, for which she's like devoting her life right now. And if you can't get the root of this stuff right yourself, and I'll say it, you can't be teaching kids about stuff. And like for me, I was even attacked that I had been a carnist, and I didn't even say anything like that because, like, it's just. So what happens is when these falsehoods are put out to a group that you could say, do I give a shit? But it's still out there, right? Like it's pathological lying, and it doesn't feel good. And it's like, it's against natural law. It's bad karma.
Right. And I care about her. If I didn't care, I wouldn't have said shit. I'd be like, good, talk to these fucking losers, but I don't want her getting misled.
Well, maybe try to get through to her, so maybe she'll listen, because she's not listening to me, and it's just like, she's planting some really
these people are just telling her nonsense, though, and like that's the thing. It's like, look, like I said, we all know I have experience with mental health, right? Right. So
yeah, but
here's the thing: what you can't do. I've literally had friends, right, with diagnoses for schizophrenia. And I tell them, like, bro, do you know what schizophrenia is? They're like, yes. And I'm like, explain it to me. They're like, oh, it's when you, like, hear things or see things that aren't there. And I'm like, okay, so are those things real or are they hallucinations? And they're like, they're not real. And I'm like, okay, so why do you believe the shit the hallucinations say? And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, then there's a disconnect between your logic and your perception. So you can't, like, whether you pick up the noise or not, you still have to filter the noise, right? So that's what I want people to realize, and because I know how bad it's fucked up people's lives. Because a lot of these people having these hallucinations, which I personally don't think all of them are hallucinations, some of them are, and then you get into theory of mind. And like, well, yeah, exactly, Jeffrey. But like, what is a demon? Well, I guess the universe is mental, but they are real, and they have intelligences, and they say things that the person would never think and has never thought, right? Yep. So they are demons, correct? Yep. And a lot of these people are, actually, I'm going to go ahead and say every one of them is traumatized. Like, you have to understand, I was in a psych ward when I was 7 years old for 30 days. Do you know when kids are in second grade and they're in a loony bin for 30 days? It's nothing that any of those kids have fucking done. They're fucking tortured. And so you got these tortured kids hearing demons, or you have adolescents that come into the ward after summoning demons, and they, quote unquote, develop an illness. And so the way out is natural law, because you can only control yourself, but the universe will heal you if you are at least, or it can heal. It cannot heal you unless you're committed to truth. It's not a guarantee that everyone's going to be healed right away or whatever. But what I find is that the dishonesty of the system and the doctors acting like these are biochemical brain things, obviously they're scam artists of the highest order. A lot of them, like a lot of the ones that I was personally seen by growing up, have been indicted, have fled the country, and have been on the news for scamming and forging court documents. I'd be happy to provide links. But yeah, so I just don't want people being misled by demons and stuff. And so, but at the same time, I've seen the effects of it, and I've also experienced the effects. And I'm talking about, my fucking bed was flipped upside down by a demon. Like my first night in the psych ward.
Yeah.
You know, there was no one in the room. Another kid was my roommate. So there was no one in the room with the strength to flip an entire bed. And I don't want people getting fucked up about this. So I got all hot water burn baby and wigged out about it. And I'm committed to maintaining composure and decorum. But at some point, I'm like, dude, these people are in fucking danger with this.
And
bad
that, like,
they're getting.
what the way, you know, this constructive dialogue is day and night. And credit, you can be heard. You just said something about my microphone. But this is such a constructive conversation, and I have said repeatedly.
I still can't hear. I don't know if anyone can hear me. I'm pulling it
We
up
can
on
hear
YouTube.
you, Darren. We can hear you. You're heard, Darren. Your mic is hot.
I can hear you now on YouTube.
Okay. Like, this
With
is
the
where
delay.
some of the value is that you can bring, Darren, because, you know, you've grokked a lot of the content, and you've had this personal experience, and, you know, this is quite frankly quite night and day from the other version. And so I think what we saw is you triggered. And if something happened, if you being in a psych ward at 7, that's in your subconscious. That's going to be activated without you realizing it's being
trauma
activated.
response.
It is a trauma response. So understanding where that's coming from and immediately going, I need to stop that, and I need to do my trauma work and heal that. And then you can help others. Like, you know, maybe you can be a Trojan horse into that group that just doesn't want to listen. I mean, have you heard some of the things we've been talking about? It's, you know, what are your thoughts on, if you don't want to answer it, you don't, because it's like, you know, you become the cyanide pill if you comment on it against, you know, the cult. But, you know, I'm just looking for a healthier, and like that we all learn and grow as individuals collectively.
Yeah, I apologize because there's a few seconds of delay.
Okay.
We hear you pretty good.
Do you want to go off and come back on, Darren?
Went out on my
go off, like turn off laptop, and come back on, Darren.
What I have to say about that is I haven't put out any work, so I'm not criticizing anybody whatsoever publicly, and I don't have anything to say. I have my personal opinions, but I figure this was a couple weeks ago was an opportunity for me to listen to myself live and then go back to the drawing board and see where I want to be versus where I was.
Nice. Good job.
Yep.
You're a fascinating dude, Darren.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
Gotta work on the presentation a little bit.
Face
get you a better camera and a better mic.
Natural Law and other people in the truth movement.
I would love to have you on the show more. I don't have enough natural law people up here. Sure is nice to hear other people talk about natural law, but me.
And also be like humble about the journey, because when you share that and you
we'll
kind
work
of
with my schedule, like I can let you know my availability. I'd like to be on too.
I hear the delay. Darren, why don't you hop off and come back on and see if you get a better link?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, let me do that. Okay. I'll be back.
Okay.
Awesome. Conflict resolution.
You know, I think that's tremendous. That's a different human being right there, right? And so even if it just starts with Darren and his
same guy, we just saw him at his worst, you know.
Yeah. Well, his demons were talking through him. His trauma was talking through him. And that's what has, you know, maybe in a way he was having that 7-year-old where the bed's flipped upside down and we're all just going, what, you know, but it's just.
His shadow took control.
Yeah. But this is coming full circle where this is showing, when you care about your other classmates, and it's like, and, he's taking irrespective of him not wanting to comment about the other ones, because it is a cyanide pill. You can't go back. Like they're going to, you're going to be on the out. Like, just like Allie and I, and it's like, for what, talking about an abusive situation that wasn't handled professionally. Okay. That's it, fine.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that just now?
I don't know. That's awesome. Let's see. You there?
Yeah, he's mute. He's on mute.
You're muted. Unmute.
There you go.
Darren.
Yeah, I switched to a cable. I think my
Oh, that sounds way better.
100% better.
100% better.
Yeah, I got home from work, so I think my Bluetooth was dying.
Don't even sound like the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to be on the show. I like discussing natural law.
Mm-hmm.
And
I like that too. I can't find anyone else to do it with me. It's crazy. There's only like the few people that come up. And yeah. I mean, there's a big turnover rate with this show. Like we even had Dustin over here. And he pieced out real quick. And he did not look back. I even hit him up. I even sent him a message on Telegram. He left it on unread.
Wow. The best psychiatrist I ever had, unfortunately, he passed away like 2 years ago, but I only had him briefly, and he was the last one I ever saw. And you know what he told me? He looked me right in the eyes. He leaned over the desk, and he said, "Fuck you, Darren." And I was like, really? I was like, that's unprofessional. And he's like, fuck you. I said what I said. And I'm like, okay, why? And he's like, because you know better. You just need to do better. And that was the last shrink I ever saw in 2013.
That's hilarious.
I think you've unearthed the key. There is just understanding where
he did foreshadow work, and he was a doctor of osteopathy, and he told me that he was in a psych ward himself, and he said the difference between a non-functioning person and a functioning person is that they just do what's necessary, and it's not that they don't have issues. Everyone has issues. It's just, are you living your life despite that? And I got the fuck off Social Security. Got a job 3 years later, and then bought a house in 2020.
And did you buy a chain pad link thing for your gate?
Oh yeah, I got that.
She's on.
I got that. I got that when the stabbing went down before Election Day. There was some unrest in the area, and I was like, this is a perfect day to go to the hardware store and get a chain.
Upgrade your security.
Cool.
Well, yeah, life is short, so why not take advantage of the free shadow work?
Yeah. Get out the nunchucks.
Oh, the nunchucks. Someone remembers you talking about the nunchucks.
Nice. Yeah, I had my homemade ones, but let me get a nice pair.
You see,
I did get the machete from the garage and put it in the living room again.
Machetes are great.
Using it,
they're very scary.
To get rid of some grapevines, but yeah. Otherwise, it's usually in the house.
That's so cool that Rice remembered You see, even listening to someone else's story or whatever, people retain that. That's a shocker. Right. The nunchucks.
People told me I was done for though. From age 18 to age 27, they're like, "Yeah, you'll never be in the workforce and shit." And I'm like, "Whatever." I bought a house and I'm halfway through a college degree, and I dropped out of high school in 2006. So I mean, doing okay.
Mm.
But I don't always revisit the topics. That's, you know what I'm saying? It's the first time revisiting a topic that's a sensitive issue. And that revealed when you think you've done enough work or you think you're okay, that's when you find out you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. to not be okay, but it's not okay to avoid the work.
Which is interesting because, and we're only doing this for educational purposes. We're done. We're past it all, right? But like even when you had the situation on Gilded, for which who commented back, he didn't help you with your shadow work.
Well,
no.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I was in a listening mood, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, fair.
There was no attempt. I want to finish this real quick.
Your mic is jumping ahead, Jeffrey.
Is it robot again, or is this?
Yeah.
Not
robot.
It's Ben Shapiro style.
Oh, geez.
Fast forward.
Next week, new microphone.
Guess so. Just the cable.
It's again still robotic.
Now?
No.
What the fuck? Good Lord, you buy expensive shit and it still doesn't work. Still Ben Shapiro?
A little bit. Keep talking.
Am I there?
No.
Am I there?
Kind of distorted.
It's like you're underwater.
Like the gain. Like, can you lower the gain?
No, I don't have any settings like that.
Oh my god.
Check.
No.
It sounds like what would happen when gain is too high. That's a little better.
It's
the peanut butter!
Like butter.
I'm so cool. Gia. Nothing's.
It's all it's like a vibrating sound, but like it's been janky all day, all night. So weird.
That's really weird because
I think I got another foam screen, pop screen. That's what it sounds like. It just sounds like input is too high, but it's not. It just might be the connection. Could be a space laser.
Now, is he speaking?
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, he's muted. So, just for the record, Darren, I'm cool with you. Are you cool with me?
Yeah.
Cool. There's no sound. You're muted, Jeffrey. Muted. Are you putting your video on, Darren? Darren, right now, yours is like a loopy circle, and there's no sound coming from you. And Jeffrey, you're muted.
Okay,
there we go.
Now am I?
Yes, you're good. But now Darren's cycling.
Team Kruger Force. You know what's so cool? Mr. Peanut Butter.
Mr. Peanut Butter.
So let me finish Mr. Peanut Butter's tantrum. So you violated Mark's request and the other students by sharing the after chat with an outside live show. So he's being very specific. It's this show.
Your microphone is janky
you and the host
okay.
Talk shit on the classmates and Mark. It was made extremely clear to not share the recordings out of respect for Mark and the classmates, but you made an unethical choice to share the class for your own personal agenda. You have participated with known detractors, disruptors, and outright liars in the slander, harassment, and defamation of current classmates, and to think you are virtuous by doing so. This class is not for your personal drama.
It's actually kind of cool because your microphone was all janky through that, but it actually sounded like, the 1984 book and movie. And it sounded like some like Orwellian, like person who have violated beep beep. You actually sounded like that. So it actually complemented his copy verbiage bullshit, like puke spew of ego perfectly.
That's hilarious. Is it still bad?
Yeah.
Check.
No.
It's okay. Am I okay now?
No.
No, still.
Yeah, through reading that whole thing, it was all janky, but it kind of complemented the Orwellian script. I am your leader. You will listen to me. Okay, all hail the cult. Not.
That's pretty funny.
That's what I have to think about. Unless he changes his tune, he can piss off. He's a sexist pig.
Ouch.
Now you're good.
Okay.
What was ouch? What I said?
No. So there. Okay. Then Will says there are only 3 moderators in this class. So he then had to write another comment because he forgot to jump on me about Dustin not being a moderator, which is completely irrelevant to anything. You erroneously brought Dustin into the sideshow, and he's not a moderator. Okay, but he was speaking in the chat as a moderator.
Yes, he was.
His response to Alicia was a response as if he was a moderator. So the fact that he wasn't a official moderator does not matter because he was moderating the fucking group. You absolute dillhole.
Yeah.
Just
check your mic.
Nothing but excuses. Like,
it's hard to hear
I
you.
can see him all. Oh, I did like remembering this and going back and like writing it again and just being like, dude. And he edited it like 3 times. Both of his statements he edited several times.
Well, he must have learned how to manage crisis with his master's degree in
psychology. Yeah, Will has no self-control.
Are we
he
talking
saw what
about
you posted,
Will or Dustin?
And he flipped out and left
so
that
did
comment.
Dustin. So did Dustin.
Yeah, so now I'll respond to Dustin's.
Check your mic. Oh, I thought you were talking about it.
Dustin.
Your microphone. Try it again because it just it's like you are coming across, but it's distorted.
Check.
It's the same as before.
Same. Here. It's weird because I like moved it.
It's the same. It's the same. So weird. Maybe is it like a position on it or like prop it up or?
No, it's very unusual. It seems like it might be something with a connection.
Is it like in the computer wrong or?
No.
Oh, Darren's like, his Bluetooth and laptop batteries died very quickly. Gonna blame this on.
Check.
Reham. I don't know what that is. You see, Darren, you know a lot, and I don't know. But are you saying like a demon shit thing? I don't know. Ahriman. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Darren
Does it still sound bad?
Perfect. It's perfect now. It's perfect. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Darren has bid everybody a Jew. His like, you know, like when you have this demon spirit and they can suck the life out of a battery and like, the ghost hunters and stuff. And that's what's happened to Darren. He came, he had a good battery and then it's wiped out. Yeah. But it didn't win, Darren. Yours is going janky again. It didn't win, Darren. You won because you got your message through, and credit to you. All my batteries were charged at work. Yeah, you're right. It is that trying to like play funky, Darren. But I'm just reading for the group some of the private chat messages that are coming up here and keeping it going. Well, Jeff, you're welcome. And yeah, like I mean, the evil spirit, demonic entities, all that, they really just want. And this is what's so sad about this group because like we're supposed to be one united group, and that's my motivation. Darren and I are totally cool now because they're the ones that won the freedom move. Yeah. Darren is saying that like this, if I'm paraphrasing correctly, he's saying they're the ones that want the freedom movement to fail, these demonic entities and everything else. And like when they create this without people just having it's so easily solved. It's like, whoops, you're right. Good point. Let's do that next time for the next person if it happens to happen. But no, you got to like, you gotta like you just
check.
Good.
Okay.
Whatever you did, it's working.
Yeah, I switched the cord from the back of the computer to the front of the computer. Maybe that'll help.
It's perfect.
So, all right. So, Dustin Plattner, thank you for the clarification, Will Keller, of the moderators. I am not a moderator. I have never been. I'm a student in the class. But you speak as a moderator. You spoke to Alicia as a moderator. You told her to stop talking based basically, and that what she had to say didn't fucking matter because you're butthurt because you're on Team Will and Alicia
Well,
is on Team Jeffrey.
yeah.
So thank you, Jerry and Will, for the resolving of the clarification, which I highly doubt that actually happened. I do not appreciate the erroneous allegations on my name or image, Alicia and Allie. First of all, to both of you, do I even know you? Yes, you've been on my podcast where, Allie was on here and, so yeah, not that that matters. Have we talked before? Not that that fucking matters.
Yep.
Yes, you spoke to Alicia in
And
the fucking
before.
conversation that we're talking about. So yeah, you spoke to her
Yeah.
like you fucking knew her. You were confident enough to tell her that what she was saying didn't fucking matter in the group. So obviously you knew her and you talked to her. So why are you even saying that? Why would you even waste the time
It
to type
doesn't
that out?
bode
These guys
well
don't
for his own
have anything to say. All they need to say is, my bad. Yeah, I probably should have said something
Mhm.
or stepped in as a man,
Yep.
whether you're a moderator or not.
Yep.
Like, sure, my bad. I'll or just not respond, and just be like, hey, I don't really know what this is about. But no, instead, these guys just do paragraphs of nonsense, that irrelevant nonsense. So anyway, first of all, to all you about, do I know you? Have we talked regarding the past group? Was I not being kind to help redirect the class as the only student to do so? No. Kind? You thought by telling Alicia that her issue with Darren wasn't helpful, or I don't know what you're trying to say. It wasn't
Look
productive.
now.
Or shadow work, bro. Like, you're a psychologist. For shadow work. What she was doing was for shadow work on Darren. Darren was misbehaving. He came up here and admitted it. You guys won't even fucking acknowledge that this is all about Darren's behavior and not Alicia's behavior. But
Yeah.
Alicia's on Team Jeffrey, so these men have to attack a woman that's on my show, and
Yeah.
instead of me coming to my show and talking to me, they're gonna attack the women from my show, who paid to be in this group, by the way, who are actually like supporters of Mark Passio enough to give him money to take one of his
Mhm.
classes. You're talking shit now. So moreover, I do have an agreement with you to do I have an agreement with you to be your protector, Alicia? So she's taking the same. He has so little of an argument that he's going to steal Will Keller's argument. That was a terrible argument to begin with.
This
Holy
person is
shit.
he's also teaching natural law. Wait for it. Drum roll. 2 children when he can't even get his shit
This is a
straight himself.
psychologist that like has
Your
patience.
mic is janky again.
and,
It's
like-
been janky for a while. Just letting you know, but we can kind of hear it.
The mental health of people are in this man's hands. I'm fucking
Concerning.
shocked.
Yeah.
So
You too can sign up for a 5-year shadow work plan. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And if this
Yeah.
is evidence of where it's going to get you, it's going to get you to nowhere good.
So
Like, step
the
up.
man here says, do I have an agreement with you to protect, to be your protector? That's not ever what you were asking. You simply wanted to state publicly what happened. You weren't asking. You protected yourself quite well, actually.
Thank you.
You didn't get upset.
No.
You were calm, collective.
Because I cared
concise,
about Darren.
simply
This
was like,
is
hey, there's
evidence now.
someone in this
He's come
class
full
that should
circle.
apologize right now because they're being out of fucking line. And and he had his response, and you were just like, oh, okay, bro. And that was it. And then we complained about the moderation
moderator.
separately.
Separately.
We did that separately
Mhm.
because there was shit moderation going on.
Correct.
Because Mark asked that people be civil, and the moderators are there to keep people civil, and they weren't keeping Darren civil in the least bit.
Mhm.
Nor did the other men in the group.
So here's
They want to all talk to boost their ego on this show, but they don't want to like step in when someone's being a
yeah,
fucking
they're
asshole
jacking
copy.
off with their egos.
Yeah. Additionally,
Yeah, and here's Darren now
you
saying
appreciate
sometimes the conversation we don't want to have are the ones we need to have. This is an example of coming full circle
Yep.
with Darren. And I keep saying credit, like hopefully Darren's saying credit to you guys for holding my feet to the fire and really going, no, man, like for your own good,
Yeah,
like do this because we all see the potential that can be here. And it's like, you know.
And so the new agers who say, "Oh, don't break each other down, you know, don't tear them down." All these guys who claim to be Mark Passio aficionados. I don't know where they get this shit.
I don't, you know, Mark gets mad and he'll go, 1% of my people's doing this shit right. You know, maybe we're part of this 1%, actually. You know, me just like, I'm not, this is your thing, but like just to show and to demonstrate. This is a classic. It took a couple shows, but we got somewhere.
I don't think he's talking about me, but I know I'm in that percentile for sure.
Of doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, so, you know, I have respect for Mark. I think it's shitty that by de facto these people are tarnishing this, and they are the experience, because this was the experience in a paid course, a donated course, donated.
So let me finish this. Additionally, I do not appreciate both of you talking your erroneous claims outside of private class and sharing this information public. Again, running to a non-issue to hide behind. Like, what the fucking difference does it make if it's public or not? It's your fucking public. It's your behavior. It's your behavior in a group. That's all we're talking about. What difference is it someone calls it what difference does it make if Mark calls it a private group or not a private group? These guys are jumping all over these semantics because it's all they have. If they were real men and if they were actually doing shadow work, this would be a prime example for them to do the right thing and just be like, my bad, I guess you're kind of right.
And in the first,
and we didn't say anything.
Yeah.
So, you know,
check your mic again. Check your mic. It's just distorting the beauty of the message you're trying to convey here. So just check your mic there a second, and I'll just if you can for your okay. No. You know, like if in the first pass they got it and they're like, okay, and then there's another pass, like, you know, it is also give a shit about the quality and give a shit about, you know, the fight. You know, we're in the fight of like humanity here, you know, and so and Darren has just put, I admit it in Darren's words, because his batteries have all gone kaput. He's saying, I admitted I was wrong because Jeff and Alicia cared, and that's in caps, enough to call it out. And that is really the basis of this. It's like, we care about Darren and his potential and where his triggers are. Because I remember us talking about root cause, and Darren's identified that going right back to freaking 7 years old. That's subconscious shit. Like, that's great. That is enormous value. And you're caring enough based on natural law and helping show examples of natural law. You know,
the most important part of natural law, which is shadow work. None of these guys want to talk about this shit. Oh, hey, he's here.
Darren, your video's on.
Darren.
You're muted, but your video's on. I didn't see
you back there.
Muted. You're muted.
No,
so your video's off, but you're not muted. Oh, he's putting his headset in.
Yeah. So let me just finish this while he's doing that. Additionally,
and your mic is good now.
It's good. Slander. Okay.
Then
I do not appreciate both of you taking your erroneous claims outside the private class and sharing this information in the public forum to further slander my name with known detractors and deceptive people. Woo, that was a long run on sentence. Your actions are gross and deceptive. I am no longer engaging with you both moving forward. So he basically wrote Will Keller's same statement over again. Like, literally couldn't form enough of a unique enough like sentences. Like, he couldn't form anything but just piggyback off Will Keller said. You guys,
But I love
you
this.
guys violated my privacy rights, and you know, you're talking to Jeffrey Phillips, so fuck you, basically.
You know,
The guy
part of
called us out for
that is brilliant.
our shit.
Part of my original statement when I posted on Gilded, which I paraphrased earlier, is that Dustin, with master's degree in psychology, needs to deprogram some of the shit that he's learned. Because look at this classic. He does shadow work, right? And now he's like re-victimizing the victim, trying to project shit that's just not true. And then he's running away from conflict. What great conflict resolution worker you are as a master's degree in psychology, teaching children natural law
guys all
and
have
doing
me
shadow
blocked.
work that takes an average of 5 years. I rest my case. Do a better job. Do your goddamn shadow work, Dustin. You've got so much training in you. You need to convert it to good. But right now, it's shit.
Yeah. Pretty disappointing coming from natural
What about
law.
the parable of the blind man and the elephant? You know, like maybe we all have things that we're good at and things that we need work on.
Yeah, what is the parable?
Oh, for sure.
Well, there
Absolutely.
was, I don't remember it word for word, and I don't know if there's an official version of it, but basically there's 5 men. They're all touching an elephant and they're describing what it feels like. So one man has his hand on the tusk and he's saying an elephant is hard and smooth, you know, it's like solid bone. And then another guy's holding the tail and he's like, oh, it's furry, it's fluffy. And then another guy's holding the leg and they're like, it's like a tree trunk, and so on and so forth. They're all describing the elephant, but they have incomplete parts of the picture. So there's something to be learned from everybody. And I wouldn't feel comfortable like really cutting into anybody unless I had a nice, and maybe not even then, but at a minimum, I would want a nice, good portfolio of work out there publicly. Because, you know, I don't know, I'm new to it. And I think even the people who like I may disagree with on a lot of things could show me something, whether that's graphic design or something like that. I don't know, like people, I don't know how long or where people are coming from. So,
well, I think what we're looking at here and what we're dealing with is people who are not managing their triggers, right? Like Will doesn't know how to manage whatever a trigger is. Jerry, the same, despite repeated efforts and attempts, you know, and then the same with Dustin. So there's this thing in natural law called cause and effect, right? Like I'm a student, had the thing, I'm over this shit. And yet now I'm having to deal with the politics of the cult of, and they're all like enabling. And like, this is shadow work 101. And, you know, I'm not here to say shit about people, but when they are projecting and they're at a high in the pecking order of this whole group, they have status, right? And so it's just like, boom. And
well, it would be cool if they could all be cool with you like we are, you know what I mean? Like, because it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've had friends and family members who are like, oh, dude, I acted up on Thanksgiving. Oh, I was an asshole back then. I mean, it's like making amends or whatever you want to call it, atonement, care, you know, doing a 180. Like it's, I don't know. It's
all they'd have to do is come here once.
I mean, you can't, you know, you can only bring the horse to the well and you can't make him drink the water, but this will come up again. Oh, I've just thrown some sort of like screen up here. Okay. Oh my God. I'm getting a bunch of screens flash up here.
But you don't know, like, I don't know if you guys did martial arts, but you don't know until you're pressure tested how your techniques are. Like you can do things in practice that, you know, like you may not be able to do under pressure. And so, you know what I mean? Like, attacking a subject that's difficult, like people talking to demons, right? You know, like, so people can be like, oh, he wasn't ready, but it's like, dude, I don't know. Does anybody else know the fuck about that? And are they stupid or not? You know what I mean? Like, there's obviously reasons for concern.
Check.
You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, it's perfectly clear.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
But like, yeah, I had no idea how I'd react to that after a long time of not thinking about it.
Yeah, all they'd need to do is come here once and have one conversation with me, and that's what I've been telling them the whole time. Well, just come and answer some questions. And if you're someone who's doing shadow work, you should have no problem when someone criticizes you about anything. That's an opportunity for you to do shadow work. Shadow work isn't about shit you do on a podcast. It's about how you react when shit is going down.
Yeah, I mean, I just see this as abuse of privilege and power. And when people have sway and then they, use it in an inappropriate fashion, and then they actually twist and distort the facts way out there. And then people, cheaters, suspect others of cheating, people who defame others are the ones who are saying you're defamed me. And it's projecting. It's reverse bullshit. So I'm just here to take a goddamn course, and this, it's been hugely invaluable to kind of stand up. We all have triggers. Mine is people, at times mistreating me. And it's my stance to just stand up and go, no. If I'm happy, if I've done something wrong, it's the easiest thing to do.
That's all you did, Alicia, and you shouldn't have all these guys talking shit to you about it. Like, all you did was be like,
call me, I'm not your daddy. Like, on what planet? Like, that's my only space talk is planet denial. That's as far as I go. But like,
nice.
That's it. It's just,
space is fake and gay.
That's as far as I'm going. Well, like, holy Jesus, Mary and St. Joseph, this is ridiculous. It's just such a waste, and like, it's actually wasted effort on these plonkers. I just hope they see it one day, because the truth will come back time and time again. And if they want to bury their heads in the sand and put their asses in the air, they're gonna get it sometime. So whatever.
They won't have to deal with me anymore if they come here. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't just like, I'm just going to fucking bite the bullet and go up there and fucking, like, these dudes, like, it's just really funny.
Ugh.
Like, I would way rather want to deal with me once than have to deal with me for year after year after year, because like, I'm not, like, this is fun to me. while it does take energy and shit, like, watching these guys misstep over and over and over and over and over again while claiming to be, walking on water. It's very funny.
There's nothing wrong with enjoying fighting when the cause is right. That's kind of the purport of the Bhagavad Gita, Like, a lot of people think everything's about peace, and it's like, yeah, peace comes when people do the right thing, even when it's gnarly.
Yeah, this is gnarly. Like, this isn't a cakewalk, and it's like repeatedly going back and then fact check, and it's like, ugh,
Yeah. So those guys' response to you was basically nothing.
They
took no personal accountability for anything because of their egos, because they don't like me, and you've gone to the dark side, I guess, even though they're the dark guys.
Well, guys, have you ever considered, I know you are, but what am I? No, you. I mean, that's most internet arguments.
A Satanist.
No, you.
Satanist in sheep's clothing.
No, you.
I tell you, these guys are all into Crowley.
I hate that.
They like Crowley way more than they like
I've read it a lot. I used to spend a lot of times at Barnes and Noble reading it, like, hate reading his work.
I have his book and I have his stuff here because it's part of understanding all of it, right? And like, there was, and then there was Dion. Is it Dion Fortune or Virtue? Fortune. Dion
Fortune. She was in Co-Masonry in the Grand Orient of France, and yeah.
She was a Freemason? I did not know that. I've been to her gravestone.
I believe so.
Oh my gosh, because she was the female version, but I think, like, she was. I've got a bunch of her books here.
It would be Le Droit Humain, the human right.
That's Thelema nerds. Sorry, yeah, Thelema. That's so Allie. But like when I used to go to Glastonbury a lot, and I studied, I actually studied the I've forgotten, because I don't have the good retention. Like Darren has photographic memory, I do not. But it's like I studied the top tarot, and I went to find in Glastonbury Dion Fortune's grave. I never know what the heck you all are talking about. Rice is like, Jeff and Allie seem pretty cool.
Thanks, Ray.
Well, yeah, this is like, Crowley was used in World War. Which war was it? Because he was from Churchill. He was used as a remote viewing spy for the war effort. Crowley, he had his interesting moments, and then he went off the dark side, like the deep end.
Oh, sorry, I was wrong. Annie Besant. Okay. Another good one, though.
I'd never heard the name.
From Theosophy. From Theosophy, Annie Besant.
Okay. I'd never
started
heard that
co-masonry, but yeah, Crowley and Dion Fortune. No, but she has a huge another occult school that people follow, like a big one.
She does.
Like a branch of Wicca, I think.
It is a branch of Wicca.
Is it Dianic?
I have her
because there's Gardnerian Wicca and then there's Dianic Wicca. Dianic Wicca is like mostly like feminist focused, obviously unholy feminine focused. Not all of them. I mean, I know some Wiccans that are cool, but I just think like that's what it attracts, and but you'll get out of it what you want to get.
They both founded their own schools, both her and Crowley, and they were in opposition. And it is suggested that Crowley actually energetically killed Dion Fortune. Just fun fact, she died in a hospital in Twickenham where I had a surgery. So it was like, there were so many weird parallels and shit. Anyways, so that's dark, and I would consider her more light. But anyways, I mean, that's without doing deep work, but for sure, comparatively, in context.
Yeah, she seemed way more normal than Crowley, for sure.
In other words, yeah.
Well, because wasn't she a Golden Dawn member?
She was, yes.
So that's probably what she was doing, is presenting the teachings more like as they were without Crowley's satanic
influence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they both hailed, I think they both maybe London and or Glastonbury, and there's a lot of ley lines and energy, like they were top. They were both top of their game. Lots of ley lines in Glastonbury. Chalice Wells, I think it's St. Michael's. Anyways, we might have lost some people with some of this discussion, but it's really fascinating.
That's the good stuff, though. That's what I like.
Good stuff. Yeah.
I'm gonna come off camera a sec. I'll be back.
Okay. So I got another something I got to drag you guys through. So I was talking earlier, we were talking about that guy Chris Sky and how he's not going to be able to get away with his activism if he moves to Mexico, because you can't, you can't just move someplace. Like I moved to Central America and I got there and I started seeing, what the government was doing to the people and, dictator there. And it really got me going. But I was warned many times, it's not a very smart idea to start to be a gringo and to move to Latin America and start talking shit about the dictators. And I even had gringos tell me that I needed to calm down on like the political shit that I was even posting about the USA while I was down there, which I think was a little much. But one of the guys that I've done a couple exposés on. You guys should all watch my videos, Barry Cooper exposed videos. There's a guy named Barry Cooper that's a big YouTuber who was a former cop. You should Google Gone Rogue, the Texas Observer. There's an article about Barry Cooper where he talks about how he was a rogue cop back in the day and used to ruin people's lives for fun, lie in court, plant evidence, beat people, all kinds of crazy stuff. So we know back in the day, he was a psycho cop. And as long as I've been in the freedom movement, I've heard bad stories about Barry Cooper. I had one interesting run-in with him. Justin Padini from the One Great Work Network got like scammed for a bunch of cryptocurrency. And the person whose likeness was used in the scam, or the person who did the scam, I still don't know whether what the truth was with that, was a friend of Barry's, and Barry made a very scathing, slanderous video about me. And so it kind of kept him on my, I kind of kept an eye on him after that.
Radar.
And, during Anarchapulco, he was invited to Anarchapulco, I believe, to speak. And during that speaking, Amanda Rashwitz, who is Larkin Rose's wife, was almost physically assaulted by him, and a girl named Macy Tomlin was physically assaulted by him. The dude is majorly unhinged. The 3 videos that I did, I interviewed 3 separate people that had worked for him while he was in charge of a ayahuasca center in Mexico, where he was filming people without them knowing, doing ayahuasca, stealing money from them. Lots of stuff. These videos are some of the gnarliest stories I've ever heard about a human being that I have contact with. This man was allegedly frequenting, brothels with children in them, and all kinds of raging on meth. He hired a bunch of people from the States to move down to Mexico to work for him and completely ruin their lives, basically. And those were just the interviews that I did. Then he fled Mexico because he attacked a bunch of people and the cartel was going to kill him. So he moved to the Philippines. And now, remember I was saying earlier, Alicia, you can't really do, when you move someplace, you can't really do crazy activism. He's been doing his show. So he redid his show after getting off of drugs, cleaning up off drugs. He started his show up again, and he pays for people. He pays bots to add people. So he's got a much bigger channel than he actually has. He started his show up again. Where am I getting with this story? So he is in trouble right now, basically. He overstayed his visa. So he's been arrested by the Philippine government. He's done a lot of terrible things and gotten away with it, but now might be thrown in jail and or deported because of some more minor things. He stayed over his visa
in the
Philippines. So I was contacted by a bunch of people in the Philippines. After I did those videos, all these people came out of the woodwork with more stories about Barry Cooper. And I don't want to have to deal with this shit, but I feel like I have to now that I'm at the center of it. But basically he went to the Philippines. A guy who contacted me and was like, yeah, Barry Cooper was reported to his local government by his wife's sister, who says that Barry touched their little boy. Little boy told the mom told the government, and the government didn't really do anything about it. So the local people, the white people who heard about it and kind of got, kind of started making a big stink about it, right?
In the Philippines or in the States?
In the Philippines. In Philippines. Yeah. So, and I get stuff like this post here. Warning, sensitive content. This is a warning to the residents of Emuling, Philippines and surrounding areas. Please share. This evil, sick, demented demon, Barry Neil Cooper, apparently victimized his step-nephew here in the Philippines. The child told the mother told Barry's wife, Mia Cooper. She knows everything about it. His own family had a meeting not to leave Barry Cooper alone with any of the children. Blah, 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 blah. There's like pictures of him with the kid. Allegedly, he stole a monkey out of the forest too. And admitted that the monkey lives with him, even though he's not allowed to own a monkey. He claims to have a permit for it, but yet he doesn't have a visa. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a fucking permit to own a monkey. Because he doesn't. Everyone said that he doesn't. So he took a monkey out of the forest and keeps it in his house. And this guy's also a diddler. So I
hope he's not abusing.
I hate to be this monkey, man.
We're thinking the same thing. Like, is this a little sex pet or something? Like that just takes it to a whole other level.
It's very, very scary. What else do I got here? Here's a letter from the chief of police of Big Sandy Police Department. After reviewing the employment file of Barry Cooper, it shows that he was employed by the Big Sandy Police Department from 7/11/91 to 6/10/93, where it shows he resigned but does not state why. The file then shows that he was again employed by the Big Sandy Police Department 7/26/96 until 2/10/98, where he resigned his position to accept a job for a drug task force in West Texas. There is no mention of any write-up or disciplinary action in his file. There is a letter in his file in regards to the Rusk County Sheriff's Office in Texas, where on 5/3/96 he was arrested by them for deadly conduct charge out of their agency. So this guy is a psycho. He was a rogue cop, self-admitted rogue cop that behaved in psychotic behavior, narcissistic, full-blown, antisocial behavior. This isn't something that goes away with age. Barry Cooper claims he's an angel now, yet he has been arrested. He tried to get a visa for his family to go to the U.S. because Barry's been claiming he's got a Netflix special, but he doesn't have a Netflix special. He just has a really shitty 4-episode thing that he's trying to sell. But he's been begging his followers to give him money so he could fly to the Netflix special premiere, which isn't even happening. He just lies to these people for money all the time, basically. So he got his visa denied. And so he's not able to go to his Netflix special because he has several charges placed against him. So that was the one guy who hit me up and told me about the monkey thing and the kid. Yikes. Then another guy hit me up, and he has a jiu-jitsu gym in the Philippines where he teaches the local kids for free, charges the gringos, but cool dude. He was a cop, and I did a shitload of research on him. He actually seemed like he was a very good cop. I mean, as good as a cop could be. He's definitely not a cop like Barry Cooper's record is crazy. This guy seemed legit. He seems like he's just a martial arts instructor in the Philippines, just trying to live his life. So Barry rolls into his studio one day with his family, and they all want to do jujitsu, and they're all doing jujitsu. Race lever with the direct D comment. So Barry starts going to this place, leaves them all these great comments, And then one day Barry shows up, and the guy kind of could tell Barry there was something off with Barry, and Barry was like getting really mad when he was like doing jujitsu with the guy and shit, and like was like getting kind of like crazy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started making even more disturbance, and so the teacher took him outside and was like, bro, maybe you just need to go home today and not do this. And like Barry started screaming at him, and so dude was just like, all right, dude, you need to go and, you know, stay away from here. And so Barry went and got on his website where he's got tons of people watching, got on YouTube, got on his Facebook, and started slandering this guy and saying that he's like hurting people and all just like slandering him, right? And in the Philippines, it's a major big deal. Cyber slander is like a big fucking deal in the Philippines. I don't know why, but they take it very serious. And
interesting.
So this guy went to the local government and asked for mediation before going to the police. This is hilarious. Actually, I wanted to watch the whole video. Fuck. I wonder if I should tell you along the story. Yeah, we might have to do. Oh, what time is it? Is it getting late?
It's midnight in 2 minutes.
Okay. I'll just do the short.
Roll it to next week, or
maybe I'll tell you the story now. I'll tell you what I got now, and then next week I'll watch him tell the version of the story, and I'll tell the story again.
Okay.
But so Barry showed up to one mediation, I think, but then he didn't come to the second one. And then he didn't come to the third one, and he kept making excuses. And then he didn't come to the third one, and then he didn't show up at all, didn't say anything. And what had happened, so if you don't show up to mediation 3 times, then you're allowed to get an action form, which is a form from your local government saying you tried mediation and the guy didn't show up. So then then you go to the police, and they basically do a report, and you have like a certain amount of time before that becomes a warrant. And so Barry knew about this stuff, and he kept ignoring it. And then he moved into the forest, like moved far away from that city.
With his monkey?
Yeah. And this guy's a cop who supposed to know the court system and know you can't get away with shit like that. And so he leaves, and then he's got a warrant, right? Yeah. Then he finally gets picked up on the warrant, and he goes on his podcast and completely lies about why he got arrested. Mm-hmm. Is all, they're arresting me because I was defending the Philip. Like, he just fabricated all this shit. So this dude is just, every word out of this guy's mouth is a lie, and he projects his shit on everyone else. He's like, oh, this guy's going to get deported. And it's like, no, dude, you're going to get deported. Like, what are you talking about?
I love
he's
to just
all my lawyers on it, and he's completely broke. He doesn't have any money.
That's the MO. Yeah. Lie and distract when you're guilty.
Yeah. So this guy might. Oh, what's up? What's up, Jules? Jules in the house. Jules. Jules is based Australian homie. I randomly went on a podcast the other day, and it was actually kind of a cool hangout podcast.
Very cool.
I hung out with these Australian dudes and shot the shit for a while. So Barry Cooper. So the cop that is the jiu-jitsu guy was like a really good cop, a really good like investigator, and he was like a bounty hunter for a while. And the guy's got shack shit to do. So he's all, oh, Barry, you're fucked. Like, he fully investigated Barry Cooper back to the 80s and has a file this thick on him with all this. He embezzled like $400,000 from a bank. He's done all kinds of fucked up shit. He got he filed like a false police report once. Like, he did just like doing sketchy shit.
False.
Being a weirdo, being an ex-cop and a YouTuber, you know, and like his YouTube, he teaches people how to like get away with like hiding drugs and passing piss tests and like stuff like that, which like the Philippine government doesn't want someone there talking all this, you know, giving all this information about drugs and stuff. The dude's completely unhinged. He can't even control himself enough to understand that he's in a different country that might throw him in jail for this shit. You know? And he's got Philippines tattooed on his arm. It's like, bro, and he's talking all this shit about the Filipino government now because they arrested him. And it's like, dude, are you a fucking idiot? Like the tattoo is the funniest thing because it's like, how impulsive could you be? You don't even know the place that well. You moved there to do your podcast, but guess what? They're not going to allow you to do that kind of content there. So anyway, this cop contacts the immigration, the consulate, the U.S. consulate in the Philippines, the Filipino FBI, and sends all of them this investigation that he's done on this guy, as well as my podcasts with the three people that worked for him the one time, like all kinds of stuff just sent to them. And so they arrested him and they're not letting him leave the country.
Wow. So
and he's either going to go to jail,
right,
or be deported back here where he's fucked his life up here too much to come back here, you know, like, and he's got maybe like, I don't know, 25,000 followers real followers on YouTube. Cause I think he's got like 100,000 or something, but it's like, they're all fake. They're all bots. You can go in there and look at them and they're not people that are following Barry Cooper for his fucking content. And he's got the same like 20 dudes in his chat every show. He's made several shows about me recently, slandering me. It's pretty funny. I don't know. I just can't, you know, it's like, I don't want to have to do this, but like people bring me this information and like no one's doing anything about it. Larken Rose, who had like a like Barry Cooper like tried to force himself on Amanda Rashwitz, and fucking Larken Rose didn't do anything about it. Like didn't say anything public about the guy. Like that's his fucking wife. That's what kind of coward Larken Rose is, who stands up for freedom, you know, like wouldn't fucking do a video to out Barry Cooper. No one wants to do it because they're all scared of him. The guy's like, so like a couple years ago when he,
what
it's
is
just
with people being, and that's it. When people are unhinged, it does create this air of fear. And like, that's where people will, you know, on a moral compass, look the other way and add to their own karmic, like ill gain, you know, it's nuts.
And you saw, Alicia, you saw all those trolls come to my channel and talk shit to me for several episodes.
Yep.
Hundreds of people.
By the
telling
way,
me that Barry Cooper is a great guy and that we should all send him money and that I'm lying to the world about Barry Cooper. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck do you know about Barry Cooper? And the guy doesn't know shit about Barry Cooper. And I'm all, so your complete fucking ignorance on the subject defeats my 10 years of fucking keeping tabs on this guy. Like, this is what these guys come to me with. And it's like, dude, what? Like, maybe with your people, you get away with this nonsense, but you're not going to get away with this nonsense with me.
That's it. That's it. The enablers.
The yes men.
The yes men. The yes men. By the way, Race Lever, when we asked like the conscious question, we didn't get the answer.
Oh, he says he hasn't learned jack shit from my show.
Oh,
that was just a joke. He didn't know. He didn't give a good answer. He gave the bot answer.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You debunked him. His computer is overheating right now.
I need to tap into my heart. Here we go. Is this currently Jeff?
Like, it just takes words I say and makes them into statements.
Oh, neat. I didn't know how that worked, actually.
So, yeah. So I mean, this dude sent me, and I was sent this giant portfolio of evidence
This is
And
a lot of
where a
rabbit
couple
holes.
weeks ago, I didn't have that much evidence. I got a bunch now. And all these guys were demanding receipts and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, well, here you go, gentlemen. But this is him. He's dude's unhinged. And it's just these unhinged people. Like, they're just
and you know what's like a shame about all of this is usually this unhinged personality disorder. At the root of it is some trauma, probably a childhood, which shows the importance of frickin' childhood. I digress a little bit, but probably if you shake the tree on each of these characters that you have talked about and expose the different facts, if you go back, it's probably frickin' you hurt me trauma, and then they're going to perpetually hurt other people around them.
Yeah.
Maybe,
it's like it's pure Satanism. Like we're seeing same with the carnivore diet influencers. It's pure Satanism. Like you are feeding people information that is killing them.
Right. And you could have on one side Satanism, you could have shadow work, and like this is the path away from it. Like to get away from this, do shadow work. And we all have it to do. It's a constant cycle. We're all facing it. So it's not to say you, unless they really are overtly and with a community causing toxic harm, then it needs to really, really be exposed.
And this auditing scene, holy shit, what
you mean with Scott Gordon in the auditing stuff, or
no, different auditing. Okay, that's Scientology auditing.
Yeah, well, it's auditing.
So auditing is when you like roll up to a police station with a camera and go inside, and you're basically flexing your First Amendment rights, or your Second Amendment rights, First Amendment rights, and so there's a big YouTube community of all these guys that go into public government buildings with cameras, and usually it makes people uncomfortable, and people will be like, can you stop filming? And they're like, no, this is my right, like those kinds of people. They're like these dudes aren't like, there's a big scene and these guys all kind of have like really big heads about what they're doing, but they're like, in my opinion, they're not doing shit. They're not working towards anything that's gonna help. If any of these auditors, if they were cops, they would likely do the same things. So like these aren't like people that are teaching morality or in any way, or even trying to teach people to be better people. They're just simply outward pointing towards the cops, and not even trying to talk to them as if they're humans, just trying to bark back with their rights as which they have, but they just want to bark, and they just want the content of them destroying a cop. Where clearly we need to talk to cops. More talking to cops would more humanize the public to them. Like I had for a while, I printed up a bunch of shirts that said unfuck the police, unfuck the police. And I was giving them out to cops with a pamphlet in them about nonviolent communication and how to like deal with the public a little bit softer, to like kind of fix their tattered reputation. Just trying to do something that might actually like cause a conversation. And I give the shirts out 3 at a time to give them to their buddies, so they actually talk about the experience. Something proactive, like something that's actually outreach instead of just outward point.
Right.
Which is most these Mark Passio guys, all they want to do is outward point. All all they want to do is outward point.
But like,
and it's
you
really
know,
boring. And especially
seen,
boring for me since I've been in this scene for so long. It's so boring to hear these guys go over this shit over and over and over again, decade after decade, about how the government's so bad and we need to we the people are moral, we need to fix the government. And it's like, yeah, fucking right, dude. You know, you're a scumbag. You would do the same thing if you were given power. I can tell you would do the same thing if given power just by seeing how you are as a moderator in your little group, you know. Like you either throw the power around or you don't do anything.
And maybe I've been giving actually that individual, the one that I'm saying the cult leader, too much credit because, you know, what?
No, I was talking to the chat. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Maybe I've been giving them too much credit by saying the cult leader. Like maybe he doesn't even deserve that. You know?
It's not even that. I think you're giving him way too much credit by calling him that. I wouldn't even. I call him I just call him a coattail rider. You know, like that's all he is to me.
More fitting.
I've seen so many coattail riders, and they're so easy to spot. You know, like, oh, Mark, I'll do all your slides for you. I'll do all your editing. You know, do anything to get in on his good side.
I think for me, the influence came from the presence and the, you know, the leadership sway that he has within the overall Gilded group, which is the private group, and within the Afterclass. So those are the two places I'm seeing his presence that my comments are relating to. Outside of that, in his world of the One Great Network, I can't, you know, I don't know if that same level of toxicity reigns there too. I can only comment on the experience, and we've dissected the quality of his response and, you know, the childlike intelligence, that is emotional intelligence that's being displayed.
Yeah. So
do you have more on that still, or because you've had so much homework on it?
On Barry Cooper?
Yeah.
No, Barry Cooper, yeah. So ultimately, Barry Cooper got arrested. He's got several charges against him. He's not allowed to leave the Philippines. He's either going to be deported or thrown in jail. Not for the things that we were hoping he would, but it's like Al Capone getting thrown in jail for tax evasion, you know? It's like, but and I know that he's likely going to lose his YouTube channel and his Facebook and all that stuff anyway. So that'd be pretty funny.
I wonder if the Philippine jail is like the Thai jails. It's not the Hilton that you want to go to.
Yeah.
I stepped away because when I was living in England and I kept going to Glass Marine. So if Darren is still there, Darren, are you there or not? Maybe he stepped away. Maybe he's just listening. Yeah. I grabbed just a few.
Yeah, sorry, I was cooking dinner for my dogs, but
that's okay. Like, I don't know if you can see, these are just a few. Oh, and I have this one. So of Crawley and Dion Fortune books that I had. Like lots, but this one is interesting because this one is actually a sum up, which I can just read the back bit. Like for those of the people that are like, who the hell are they? Shall I read this? Because it's saying the back is a comparative biography of the 20th century's two most influential magicians, which is interesting. So should I just read that? So
yeah, go ahead.
Understand who they are, because it'll capture it. It says Aleister Crawley and Dion Fortune were two of the most controversial and powerful occultists of the 20th century. Crawley was regarded by many as a creature of the night, albeit one whose soul was streaked with brilliance. And he has incredible intelligence. And that which went into his Thoth Tarot is just mind-blowing. Fortune was viewed as one of the shining ones who nevertheless wrestled with her own darkness. Between them, they produced some of the best books on occultism ever written, and their influence upon contemporary magicians has been profound. Written by an occult scholar, this unusual, provocative book, this one, by Alan Richardson, draws upon unpublished material to reveal little-known aspects of Crowley and Fortune's relationship and their role as harbingers of sweeping cultural changes foreshadowing the women's movement, the sexual revolution, and the 1960s counterculture, as well as other surprising influences upon our present culture. And then the author is recognized as an expert on mythology, paganism, Celtic lore, and ancient Egypt. He's the author of more than 15 books, including biographies of Dion Fortune, Christine Hartley, and William C. Gray. He lives in England. So if anybody's interested in that, it's by Alan Richardson. If anybody wants, it says the logos of the Ion and the Shakti of the age.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shakti Day.
So, you know, one could go down that, but it's occultism, right? So,
yeah,
I think I'll put that one by my bedside and kind of reread it. It's been a hot, or not read it. It's been a hot minute since I started to.
I started browsing the topic around 2005. The occult and everything, and I've looked at her work. I think it's on the Ark. There should be a good amount on the Ark, I believe.
Yeah.
And, Crowley's a trip, but I remember going to like Barnes and Noble and stuff, and like checking out like Crowley's books, so I didn't have to pay for them.
Sure. It even says in here, I open it up, Crowley's grandparents were wealthy brewers, and his father and mother were dedicated members of the Plymouth Brethren, which insisted on the literal truth of the scriptures. Interesting. A rejection of all priestly authority, with all members free to speak as the Holy Spirit moved them, and in belief in the imminence of the second coming. In many ways, those principal tenets were also found within Crowleyanity.
Yeah, millenarianism.
Crowleyanity, is that what it's called?
What's that?
Interesting. It's called Crowleyanity?
Yeah.
I thought it was Crowleyism.
It's saying here Crowleyanity.
Interesting.
It is.
Gone out some frozen tofu.
Oh, you can freeze tofu? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm trying out this process where you can you press it and then you cut it into cubes, you freeze it, and then you thaw them out, and then you press them out more, and it gives it like a good, I don't know, like some chewiness, so I can put it in a stir fry or whatever. I'm gonna try marinating them with shawarma spices.
Yeah, you need to inject some flavor into. I mean, they'll just absorb whatever flavor you want to give them. So.
Yeah, I got this shawarma dried marinade spice, and I'm gonna marinate it in that with like maybe some vinegar and olive oil. Then I got this garlic sauce and pickles that I made, and I'm gonna try to make a tofu shawarma.
Cool.
Fucking cult. I'm not in your cult. Pretty whack, bro.
Well, isn't that funny that he's talking about cult? And I said, like within that, how to be the new media cult is what I'm talking about. Let's just frame it there and go.
We're gonna find out that you fuck with the wrong one. Fucking trash apes.
Yep.
So this one here,
bro.
You hear that?
It's pretty whack, bro.
Is that you
That's
saying
Will
that?
Keller saying that my show is pretty whack.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah.
It's pretty whack, bro. It's pretty whack, bro.
Darren and all
boy.
You have bigger balls than he does, Darren. That's all I can say. You stepped up.
Yeah.
He's got big balls and she's got big balls. Fancy big balls. But we've got the biggest balls of them all.
Where's that echo coming from? Is it coming from me?
Is my mic on? Is it like, let me turn my mic off and see if it.
No,
see
just
if
with the sound bite.
Oh.
The sound bite.
You'll find the fuck out, boy. You're gonna find out that you fuck with the wrong one, boy!
that one escalates quickly.
You're not in your fucking meat industry propaganda cult.
I wish Mark would have that conversation with Will privately.
Yeah, Will, the guy who says that chickens leave their eggs around for him. The natural law master. They leave their eggs for me. Right, buddy.
What was that, Darren?
Oh, I was going to say by hook or by crook, though. So, Jeff, if you have your own platform, and then there's the One Great Work Network. I don't know. It seems like competition could help the movement, but healthy competition, like not shooting each other down, but like let's just say you actually, put out some content, like you said, that's more like content driven than topic driven. Maybe other people will be like, well, damn, dude, I need like to put some like more
exactly
content.
They're like, I got to do something if this guy's doing fucking good shit now, like better, greater work.
If you sit there and talk about the occult motivate for 2 hours, them. Maybe people will talk about the occult for 2 hours.
Little bit of healthy competition.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I want like a Joe Rogan experience, except like for 2 or 3 hours, we just talk about the occult. You know what I mean? Not like about it, but like.
Is anyone even doing that really?
I want to. That's what I want my shit to be, but I don't know where to start. Probably because who's there to talk about? But yeah, we'll just go like.
Why don't I mean, we could all read this book and start there, the Crawley Dion Fortune thing. I don't care. Do something else. Do whatever. But, because
Allie kind of has the same problem where she knows so much, but doesn't know really where to start. That Prometheus Writhing book is pretty good, though. There's some new age garbage in it, but like, as far as like the first impression, what's it called, babe? I wish she was here. The imprinting, first stage imprinting, or like bad imprinting when you're young, how it can completely send you in like different like how you're imprinted when you're born really makes a difference on how you end up
engrams. Like that is true, that is real. Like these things do carry with you the rest of your life.
And it's funny because to the person who said he doesn't know who I am, at the after we had our moment on that after class, then we went in and we talked about shadow work with none other than Dustin. And part of what we started to talk about, because I said, it's built in your subconscious for your first 7 years, and even during pregnancy, and what may have happened during pregnancy that can also, impact these things. So it's, what is this whoosh when he was arrested? Something's come up here. But like, I think all of that is of value, even like Darren, it's of value for people who may not even understand some of like the root of where this trauma can come in and get like literally on a soul level, it can just own you, and you've got to release it and process it. And that is part of otherwise you're just going to complete the cycle, and we all have it from our upbringings, from whatever we were exposed to. I just think that's fascinating. It could definitely help people.
Yeah.
The Archons want us to back away from like the literal job of the Archons is to prevent us from ascending like outside of the realm of astrology or karma or whatever. Like they want us to be eternally bound in the karma so they can harvest the byproducts.
Who's they? You mean evil, like the dark?
Yeah, exactly. Like just like there's plankton in the ocean, like there's evil everywhere. And like what I've been studying is Advaita Vedanta, and so there is like unmanifest and manifest forces and aspects of deity. So basically what happens, and I think this is what happens with a lot of light occultists and light yogis, is they get to a point where they have proficiency for their own benefit, but purposely, like that lady who said, what makes you think you have the right to keep this knowledge to yourself, to Mark, right? So people may not be doing something bad, but they have this knowledge and they don't do good things with it.
It's
a good, actually a danger, because let's say you study like non-dualism and you study natural law, yoga, and metaphysics. You have all this knowledge, which you're not doing it for the purpose of, for a godly purpose, then you're really a thief. I mean, you've stolen knowledge, you've stolen this fire from Prometheus, and then you're like, fuck humanity. I'm just going to warm my house and not teach other people how to start their own fires.
Not give back. Right. Which is what Mark is saying.
That's a feature in Kabbalah, at least, like, not like in Kabbalah, but like amongst the people who study it, is to purposely distance themselves from cutting to the chase. You know why? Because that's all it is.
Sure.
Everybody's saying, oh, it's so complicated. There's so many emanations. I'm like, no, that's obfuscation. You can study Sankhya Yoga. You can study the elements, the emanations, everything from source to gross elements and the causal bodies, the astral, the pranic. But once you have knowledge of the soul, that's the first and the last trap, is egotism. So you could be egomaniacal materialist, or you can be an egoic yogi or an egoic philosopher. They're literally the same thing, because they've learned nothing. They've studied a lot, but they have not. Once again, let's say you have a very transcendent meditation where your consciousness is merged into Nirvikalpa Samadhi and you become one with Brahman for a moment. When you come out of that, are you going to walk away from that experience saying, I've merged with the Supreme and I know that my Atman is the same as Brahman, that I and Brahman are one, truth is one, therefore I don't give a fuck about it because everything is one? No, then you've become a voidist and a nihilist, essentially, right? So once you come out of a non-dual immersion, and then you have to act in the world with ego. It should be with the purified ego. Then you go to worship in the form of worshiping through karma yoga by doing good things while you still have breath in your body, right? So until you're dead, like, you should be working, because somebody cannot be inactive while alive. But if you are going to be inactive, you should be absorbed in trance. But if you're not in trance, you should be working for the good.
Yep. And this is where we can have all these distractions, whether or not they're religious or whatever they may be. And the real litmus for anybody, to me, I mean, you've captured the cranial aspect of all of that, what some of those things could be. But at the essence of it is, whatever you're doing, if you feel that it's moving you away from who you are and separating you from your soul, you're giving over the power. And that's where it's actually counterproductive. You need to be closer to you and your connection to your creator. And that, that's it.
Yeah, a lot of times the knowledge differential, I mean, some people really just enjoy knowing more than other people. So they could be doing nothing other than just not giving the full truth.
Yeah.
Just because they want people to tune in for like more episodes of truth.
Absolutely. And sometimes more scholarly. Yeah. And sometimes the more scholarly, like with the Kabbalah as an example, because we've had this discussion.
That's what I was paranoid about, by the way, which it wasn't the case, but that's the reason why I told the group, I was like, oh shit, what if Alicia's just trying to learn stuff, but isn't going to contribute? So, and I was just dealing with people like, who were like, I was riled up about another thing, so I didn't really have the clarity or have enough time to like filter it out. But that is a huge concern of mine. It's like, okay, so people are anarchists, people talk about natural law, but are they anarchists because they simply don't like getting in trouble for the crimes they commit? You know what I mean? Like, because if nobody committed crimes, everybody would think you're ridiculous if you propose a police department.
Right. So
right?
coming
But
full
if
circle,
there is crime,
right.
Go ahead.
So coming full circle, you no longer hold that belief, right? Like, because we've had that.
Right. Yeah. I just wasn't sure about it, so I kind of just, you know.
Yeah. We don't need to reopen it. I just wanted to get absolute clarity that, and but in the essence, like what Kabbalah does, and I've seen it, is you have like this whole trend where people are trying to do better for themselves and their lives and everything, and it's this relationship with them and their ego, but it really does take you away from your sense of self because it indoctrinates you with all of these different things. And you know, like it blew me away how much they want you to go scan the Zohar. And I'm digressing just slightly, but just as one example, which is Kabbalah. And it's like, no, I'd just rather go and be a good human through my actions. And I was just like, no. No.
Right.
So I don't know.
Hey, Darren.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Mark's band?
Yeah, I bought the album. I haven't seen him live. I mean, I've seen.
No, his band before that band.
Oh, the Satanic one.
Yeah,
I've listened to a track before from it. Yeah. What about it?
Video?
No, I've not.
This is a video.
1993.
It's crazy. They were really good. Look at Mark. Look at baby Mark. It's totally him.
Look at that hair.
Look at that hair. Yeah. Dude, that's fucking good. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
You know, I find that this was something I experienced with yoga and meditation and stuff, like living in an ashram. I realized that some people are addicted to their object of devotion to where like they can't be without it. So they're constantly referring to a source. So like if somebody's studying Kabbalah or somebody's studying any occult philosophy or methodology, so much of their identity is wrapped up in their identity as a student or practitioner of a discipline. Or when it comes to religion, it's like I can't forget about Krishna. Well, here's the thing, dude. You're gonna die, and your brain's gonna stop working, and then what? Who's gonna remember you? Who's gonna remember Krishna? And then you realize, like, oh shit, wait a minute. If you're part and parcel of this Brahman, and you do what you need to do, that Brahman is not gonna forget you. So people have this idea that like I just got to double down on my beliefs, and it's like, well, I mean, beliefs are only to get you to a point of action,
and that's
right?
what
And then a lot of people like inject duality when it's not needed, simply to maintain like their own relevance, I guess.
Interesting, right? Yeah. Yep. There's
like if I'm not meditating, then I'm not safe or whatever. And it's like, or what about when people constantly quote scripture that they've been reading for 40 years? Like if you have to keep if you were a cook and you cook the same meal every week for 40 years and you keep reading the cookbook, I'm going to say that you have some kind of cognitive impairment.
But it's interesting because you said then they're afraid, and it's like, really, if you stop and just figure out what are you afraid of, like, what are you afraid of? Is it?
Or I like my importance because I have a special relationship.
Oh, and I'm not saying it about you. I was saying it.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, like, and sometimes if it's not fear, well, it's fear of not being special because of their relationship with their thing that they like.
Fear of not being special. It's so weird because one would be self-empowered as special with their relationship with their creator if they just do, like the right thing. That is being special.
Right, but people get into this habit of like, I have to, or like, I have to pray. Well, how do you pray to a being that knows your thoughts before you do? How do you do that?
I always love, everybody
You're
is
just talking out loud to make yourself seem good. But if you are good, that being knows you're good. You don't have to verbalize it. I mean, if it helps you, fine. But what I'm saying is people make their practice the goal instead of the practice just being something that you do while you're alive.
Yeah.
Like everybody's got to do something. So if you enjoy meditating and chanting and doing yoga, that's fine. But people think if I stop doing yoga, I sever my connection and I'll fall down. How?
Yoga itself is a fascinating one because it actually has a lot of prayer poses and worship and everything else within it.
Worship comes from worthship in Old English. So if you find something worthwhile, worship means attributing worth to something.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can do worship by not praying and just not doing harm and doing good when you have the opportunity. That is worship. That's what karma yoga is. It's being united in action. Mm-hmm. And, jnana yoga is being united in knowledge, and Ashtanga yoga, the 8 limbs, the do's, the don'ts, the different practices, like things to do with your body. That's worship of the divine by respecting yourself as a reflection thereof. And bhakti, devotion, like gratitude, and realizing that there is a reason that we're here, and the reason that we're here is to be here. So non-existence doesn't exist. Existence never ceases to exist. So people get to this point where they think if I just if I stop creating karma, then that'll be it, or then I'll get to the superposition where I get to
life
have
is about
ambrosia in Mount Olympus or whatever their idea of the reward is.
Life is perpetual creation of karma, good or bad. It's a constant until you die. And it's interesting because even within the yogic world, you have things like Bikram, which was a hotly, that was a big one too. And if you think about Bikram itself, it's actually, you have to do things in a specific order. And, it is very doctrinated, which is interesting. So even that kind of darker side of the yoga has even infiltrated within the whole yoga, like a category, the arrays, the options there. So none of it's not all purist.
And it's been that way for thousands of years.
What? Sorry,
what? Even the sages teaching yoga know that 99.99. They say one out of 10,000 people, one person will endeavor to know the truth, and out of 10,000 people who endeavor, only one will actually know it. So you're talking about a 10,000th of the 10,000th. And that's also symbolic because they say that the soul is the size of 1/10,000th of 1/10,000th of a tip of a hair. So what they're saying is the soul is so subtle that it's hard to see. And by see, they mean Veda, like knowledge. See with your consciousness. So, people think like, okay, like Crowley, like he crossed the abyss, he had some kind of gnosis, and now the world is his oyster and he gets to exploit it however he wants to. And that's unfortunately the path that a lot of teachers take, whether it's an academic subject, a scientific subject, or a religious subject. Like I can't make everybody else as knowledgeable as me because then my church won't get donations, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can teach you about that. I can't bring you there because I'll be irrelevant.
Ignorance is big business. Yeah. You said something, Jeffrey, at the yogic, but I couldn't hear what you'd said there. I think it was around the Bikram part.
Yeah, I took like a 30-day challenge out of nowhere, and I wasn't in great shape. I was kind of like drinking a lot and was like eating like shit. And I did a 30-day challenge, and then I kept doing it for a while. But the first day I went in, I was literally hungover. I didn't know it was 90-minute classes. I thought it was just an hour. And so I was dying. Like, I could not believe I didn't throw up. Like I was so uncomfortable. It was so dark and so awful. And I was looking at the clock in an hour and I was like, why haven't they stopped? I'm dying. And so it went another half hour. And I went from that to at the end of that 30 days being a fucking beast. Like, wow. It was pretty crazy. And then I kept doing it for a long time. I kept doing it until COVID, and then COVID stopped and shut all the gyms down.
Oh,
yeah, it was kind of a bummer, but it was fun. I had fun doing hot yoga. Oh, I got really good at it.
It is.
I mean, as good as you could get. Yeah.
And
it's just nice. It's fun, like having, just like a ritual and like something you do every day too is kind of rad, and sticking to it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess podcast, I've never done anything 45 times. Like, I'm an ADD kid, like, like I don't usually stick to things.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're here for 5 hours.
What, Darren?
Said, oh yeah, I remember getting called down to the office for my Ritalin every day.
Oh yeah. No, they made me take it in front of class.
Yeah. Nice. They would just call my class and be like, "10 Darren," and everyone knew I was going to get drugged.
Yeah. The nurse would call my class and be like, "Have Jeffrey take his pill." And I forgot. They called the pills something. And it was weird. It was like on a Molly trip I had or something. I remembered it for a little bit and then I forgot the next day. But they used to like call the pills like crazy pills or something, but there was some other word for it. But I got made fun of so much about that. Like, what the fuck like adults were in charge during that time that thought that wouldn't affect me in some way negatively,
Right, like dude,
why?
Putting kids on speed, might cause problems.
They were giving me like anti-seizure medicine on top of the Ritalin. This shit called Dilantin.
Oh, no shit.
Crazy.
No shit.
I was just hyper.
They fucking give people other stuff too, like Neurontin was a big one in the early 2000s.
Lithium?
Yeah, I was on that, dude, like 1,500 a day.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's why I had thyroid issues. Like, it fucked.
Have you seen the movie Garden State?
For years. Garden State, yes. It was years ago.
It's a pretty good movie.
Out. Yeah. But yeah, I had to.
Dude had been on lithium his whole life, and he got off of it and was just like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
Emotions.
Trazodone, Silver Linings Playbook. I watched Silver Linings Playbook on Trazodone. Yeah. No, I mean, and then they're like, "Oh, you just don't understand that you need these drugs, so now we have to force you to take these drugs. We're going to send social workers to bang on your door."
Wow.
Because that's what happens when you're non-compliant. You get Baker Acted or whatever your state calls that.
Man.
Yeah. So they're like, "Oh, you didn't answer the door," so we call the police. And then you come to the door and you're like, "What's up?" And they're like, "You're going with us. They said you didn't take your meds." And I'm like, "No, I was taking a nap. What's up?" And they're like, "Doesn't matter. We're past that. You're going to the hospital." And I'm like, "For what?" They're not answering the door. And I'm like, "We didn't even have an appointment." And they're like, "No, well, they're saying that you need to go." And I'm like, "Okay." Yeah. No, lithium. They prescribed gabapentin a lot of the times for bipolar off-label. They got sued for that, the company that made it. The company that invented gabapentin, I believe, was Parke-Davis, which actually synthesized some peyote, some mescaline for Aleister Crowley in Detroit back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Wait, say that again. What?
Parke-Davis Pharmaceuticals synthesized some mescaline because Crowley brought them some peyote and said, "I want you guys to like manufacture this for me."
Synthesize it?
Yeah, and they invented ketamine and gabapentin and PCP.
Wow.
Yeah, Parke-Davis.
Like gabapentin and ketamine are two different things, but I know they're both used for
Yeah,
pain.
but they're things that have been abused, and like it's very similar to how Eli Lilly. Was it Eli Lilly or another big pharmaceutical company? Is one in Germany. You know, LSD, the hippie movement, Jerry Garcia, MK Ultra. Like they want people to be a bunch of drugged out losers. So
You know what's really
pharmacologists are like the same thing.
What is shocking to me when I've experienced having to take gabapentin, and at the height of it, I was on 3,200 milligrams a day or whatever that shit. Like it was like I felt like I was in a straitjacket. It was for pain,
Jesus.
and I was also put on ketamine IV for pain. I mean, yeah, like so. Me coming through when I was talking,
you're off everything now.
Nothing. Yeah.
Wow, that's so
this is
wild.
where with that guy, when I'm like, do you know what it's like to feel good and cleaning the system and going into autophagy and all these things? Like this is about detoxifying. But apart from that is like how would anybody want to be on that shit? Like it is so gross. Both are. I remember because they did midazolam and ketamine for the IV for kind of it was a 3-hour midazolam and ketamine. So it would put you kind of in a like you're under, and then they would throw the ketamine on to like rewire the brain. And I remember waking up and I could feel the full ketamine, like I could feel it. And it was so distorted, like some psychedelic. And I had tears coming down. I'm laying on the gurney and the tears are, and I go, this is hell. So I don't know how anybody, like I know that Friends guy like died with a ketamine overdose. Like it is, there must be personalities that either really like it or really hate it. And mercifully, I'm like in the really hate it camp.
It's dissociative anesthetic. You know what else is a real trip? Getting IV haldol and Ativan. So 5 milligrams of haloperidol, 2 milligrams of Ativan, which is lorazepam, and 50 milligrams of Benadryl, all like one after another in the IV.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, you wake up in a puddle of piss because you've been out for like hours and having the worst nightmares.
Well,
they actually
ketamine's it. Only certain people like ketamine, that's for sure. Like growing up, like friends, it was only certain people liked it.
Oh, I mean, I
K-hole, they call it a K-hole, where you get like stuck in this weird alternate reality or something, and it's just not fun. Allegedly, watching movies on ketamine, you're like in the movie.
Well, but
dissolving the boundaries because it's a dissociative. Weird.
And then you get fully immersed in the movie, and you're like in it. which sounds fun, but I've heard it's not.
Delusion.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's like, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I mean,
remember salvia?
Some drug people are pretty gnarly about their drugs. I've never been a drug person. I don't know why.
Did you ever try salvia back in the day when it was legal?
I never tried salvia.
It was so weird. It was not pleasant at all.
Stories though.
anyways,
sounds a little intense.
Once
I don't like being out of control.
Yep. I never heard anybody.
When I was like 11, though, I was at a park, and I was like 11, and there was an older kid there, and he had a water bottle, and he was like tripping out, and he was like, "Oh, this is like," I don't remember what he said it was, but he was like, "Oh, you want to try some? It'll like get you high." And like I took like a big sip of it, and he was all, "Oh shit, that was a big sip, dude." And I remember whatever it was, I think it might have been ketamine, but whatever it was, it hit me, and I didn't leave the park for like 5 hours. I was just like fucked up, and then I had to go home and go inside and act like nothing was going on. And the second my mom saw me, she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Fuck!" And I was totally like, I was too young to be on any kind of drugs, and it was a really bad experience. Therefore, that kind of scared me away from like dabbling in things, I think.
Yeah, dude. Some people would do that like recreationally.
Like just in water?
Yeah.
This must have been like 1990 or something. I don't know.
That's when all the precursors were easy to get.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It wasn't an upper though. It was a downer.
Yeah, GHB is. Yeah.
Oh, GHB. Yeah, could have. I wasn't. It was more like I don't think I was like out of control or like it was just more in my head.
Wow. That's bizarre.
Yeah. Something. I have no idea what it was, but I remember he got freaked out because I took a big sip of it and he was just all, "Oh shit!" And then he pieced out, and I just fucking was all like sitting in the park at 11 years old.
Oh my God.
But it is very, that's scary. But in a way, that one event has clearly made its mark, and you're like, I'm not touching that shit, which is helpful for life. But
and my mom and my aunt and my uncle were like, 80s kids in Orange County. And so there was a lot of cocaine and alcohol too that I saw, very firsthand. So I was just like, drugs are kind of gnarly. And then I was, and then so when I grew up, I got way into like the vegan straight edge thing, which made sense. But then once I was 21, I started drinking and dabbling. But anyway, we're about to hit 5 hours, Alicia,
which is nuts. I haven't even I only got up for the books, and that was it. I haven't even gone to the I haven't had to go to the loo. That's cool.
Darren, thanks for showing up, bro. You're a beast.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. Allie, I don't know if it's in the chat, but can you put the link or the title of that book?
Oh, sure.
Download that.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. It's Aleister Crowley and Dion Fortune. Oh shit.
Or just the name of the author. I can remember
that. Alan Richardson.
Alan Richardson. Okay.
Yeah, it's Aleister Crowley and Dion Fortune by Alan Richardson.
Awesome.
Oh wait.
Maybe you could like do a chapter at a time on the show, or like at least like do a chapter review for each, like one chapter per show.
Somebody wants to screen grab it, but there you go. There's the book.
Awesome.
Alan Richardson. Yeah, maybe because it's a historical learning, an academic kind of. I think from this, a lot of things were built. I mean, obviously Blavatsky would be preceding all of that, but cool. I think that's interesting stuff. Yeah. How many chapters are in here?
Or like you could like read your favorite page from a chapter, or like the most poignant idea or something like that. Just go through it.
Yeah. There's 7 chapters, so it's not a lot. The chapters go. This is a weird color. Oh my God. It's like, let me just.
I think Allie's gonna start reading Prometheus Rising on the show, or at least like reviewing it.
So weird. The color. This is
Pretty
like
good.
office color. Let me change it to relax. There we go. It's a Dyson. It's a Dyson little crane number here. Like, can you see this?
Ooh,
and it
nice.
kind of and up and down. It's pretty awesome. But it also can.
Where's the light come out of?
It's in here.
Weird.
Yeah, like right now with my phone, I can press relax and it just changed the hue. I can go study.
Oh wow,
and then
that's pretty
steady.
cool.
Yeah, there's precision. Maybe that's the white one. Yeah. Anyways, it's kind of cool. Yeah. But
that's the marinating tofu. We'll see how it goes.
Well, here's chapter 6 is falling to earth and other trauma. Interesting.
Wow.
So it's like chapter 1, death and afterward. 2, the wars of their worlds. 3, priests and priestesses. 4, temples and their truth. 5, initiations and other awakenings. 6, falling to earth and other trauma. 7, past lives and similar futures. This actually looks really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
There we go. So, Allie did well. I'm taking her. She just had limited reception or something. So, but do look up her Light Occult Revival. It is good.
Yeah.
And credit to you. And all of that. Yeah, it's nearly coming 1:00 Eastern Standard. So
yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
No.
Cheers to the people who did wake up and activate and become peers in the great work. Nothing but admiration and thanks. And this forced shadow work has not been for you. It has been for those who did not respond to the fucking call of freedom. And you guys already know that. I don't even need to repeat that. But I will say with my Vienna Lager here, cheers to the people who really did the great work. The ones who really activated, the ones who spoke out, the ones who put the message of freedom publicly out into the world through the creation, the creative expression that came from within themselves to publish and communicate it to those in need of that knowledge. You're my brothers and sisters, and you're my peers in the great work, and thank you. To every